Living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break the keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, but you let it through. Enough to go insane, living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it on me. Rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, life's telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Life's telling you, don't waste it on me.
So salty you couldn't make it when you did do the live stream. What you do, Dutch?
My audio wasn't on, so welcome everybody, and welcome Gaz. Gaz, continue your introduction.
I'm sure it's coming to you at the end.
We're dual streaming here, so you're on two podcasts at the same time.
Yeah. Oh man, well, I had you yesterday as well. So
Yes,
are we best friends now?
we're besties. Besties.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you so much, boys. We're gonna get lit. We can touch
Yeah.
each other now. We can get lit.
Absolutely, we can, and it's gonna be a little bit of different podcast than usual. Obviously, we don't have the regular topics list. We will just talk about all the stuff that happened at Gamescom. At least the stuff we can talk about, guys.
Not all the things that happened at Gamescom, guys.
Yeah. What
definitely
happened in
not.
Cologne stays in Cologne, right?
Yeah. That's true. A lot of it. A lot of it. Oh,
Yeah. So, guys, how is it being back at home after almost a week in Germany?
it's good. I mean, it was a lot to take in. A lot of things happened in and out of Gamescom. It was just a lot of fun. But even during Gamescom, I was just desperate to go back home and play this game, which you know which game it is. So that's what I've been doing, just catching up and sleep and playing this game, and just loving it. Oh, you can guess what this game is, but yeah, man, just good. I miss you guys already, man. It was really good to meet you guys, and
Same here.
yeah, I'm so glad we went. So glad.
Yeah. We already said when we were like packing things up, we got to make this a yearly thing because it was
Yeah.
just too awesome meeting all of you, hanging out together, having dinners, and it was just a phenomenal time. So
And we had the
yeah.
look. We had the look of really good weather for 99% of the.
Oh yeah.
It was like little spurts of rain here and there, but it was like so small that you didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Dave as well. Dave, $5 super chat. He said, "Welcome all to Gamescom Hangover edition of the midweek mix-up." Yeah, it kind of. Not putting that more on everything. It's good. And Jesper in chat says, "Will Gaz do a German accent?"
Oh, I did.
Did
I
you
did
pick
one
something
yesterday. I was doing an impression of you, Boxenberger, when you were telling me to yesterday. Where you telling me to get the. You want to get the goodie bag, Gaz? You're very smart. Go back in and out of the third cell. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to get into getting FanFest, but it's so funny, man.
Yeah.
I just in German. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problems. Good stuff. So, gentlemen, how was the overall experience before we talk about some of the games that we've seen and played and the things we heard and learned? So, how was Gamescom for you guys?
Which one?
Gaz, you go first. You're the guest, Gaz. Go on.
The negatives I'll just get out of the way are the almost futile trade / content creator passes that we worked hard to get, and we got only because I wanted to cover and do interviews and check out the games, and I thought it would be relegated to press and content creators. We got the passes. It wasn't easy because you have to make a case for yourself, blah blah blah. And you had all this. I had all this content planned, so so I could share it with people. And I think if we had a lot more of that, we would have had a lot of content we could have shared. All of us, you had Owen who managed to get some off-screen footage, and that blew up, and that was great. And we could have had a lot more of that, a lot more developer interviews and stuff. And it seems like people had finessed the system so that even non-traders use their company name to then just go in, nothing to do with gaming, and just bought tickets because the public, loads of members of the public were there. So it ended up becoming like a normal Gamescom show almost.
Yeah.
Loads of people with massive queues who couldn't get to play the game. So that was a big, big negative of Gamescom. It's something that they really need to look into. A lot of stuff, other things like poor signage is really I don't understand how you can have poor signage, the website was an absolute ball ache for all of us to navigate and understand the process. Even you, Boxenberger, when you were trying to get all that done. That was annoying stuff, things that they really need to improve on. But I will say those things can be fixed very relatively easily. Hopefully next year they'll sort that out. Generally, though, Gamescom to me, and I was here 10 years ago. I thought, well, I guess it was special because for me it was meeting you guys.
Yeah.
been doing this for almost 3 years now. I don't even know how long.
Yeah, 3
and we've been
probably. Yeah.
probably 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If not, but
so
it must be
like,
longer
this is-
because we've been going 3 years, and you've met you at
Yeah. I've started.
XO, and you
yeah.
were flogging leaflets to Elite controllers at
Yeah.
XO. So
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was before we did the YouTube thing, but yeah, that's when we kind of started. So just over 3 years, and I've been talking to you guys. You've been on our shows, and we build a rapport. But like just to meet people in the flesh, and then just to get on with everyone was so nice, and we just have genuinely had such a good, fun time, even if it was a long queue or anything. We would just have each other's company, and it was just fun, man. So that was the biggest highlight, or was making like, well, we were always friends, but just reinforcing our friendships, meeting up, and shout out to the big highlight has to be Xbox, official Xbox's handling of it. I didn't expect to say this at the end of it. I thought it would just be a booth and then another booth, but Xbox to me were the highlight of that event as well in terms of how they handled it. The community focus, meeting Aaron Greenberg, meeting the stuff actually where it took front center stage, made a considerable effort in becoming like a part of the event and engaging with fans, engaging with the general populace, man. It was just really nice. Yeah, man, it was just nice, man. It was such a good environment. Cologne is amazing as a city. It's just so much fun, man. Like and just like you, when we were packing our things, we were like, this is now an annual affair. We need to do this every
Yeah.
year. And yeah, the
Absolutely.
idea is already like, how do we make it better
Yeah,
next time?
that's-
Let's book it.
Yeah.
we were literally just
Whilst
talking about
waiting
that.
in the green room. Yeah. Once we were waiting for you in the green room, it was exactly okay. We gotta improve this.
Yeah.
So next year is gonna be different, but it's a sure thing.
Yeah,
and
it has
I-
to be.
Yeah.
It was like a
It's
mini
gonna be
learning
fun.
experience. Like I thought it was, again, the community focus on that was just insane. It was a whole nother level. I expected to have fun meeting people, but like the entire thing was just a blast from start to finish. As Gaz was saying, it was like the Xbox side of it was like more of a community hub. Like everybody there was kind of so welcoming and
Yeah.
like all community focused and things like that. And everywhere else was kind of just like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. There
Yeah.
were just statues otherwise.
yep.
There was no engagement. Xbox really went out their way. No, I was there 10 years ago. There were a handful of people there, but the presence was nothing. So it wasn't that much. Like we were there filming Connect and all of that, and
I think
no
they
one
had
gave
something
a
like
shit.
200 staff there, including pretty much the entire hardware team. They had
Yeah.
the vast majority of all of their social leads from every country. We had the Maxi Graph from Germany. We had the Nordics team there. We had the UK, the head of the UK PR team
The
there.
Australia, New Zealand team was there.
All of them were there. Like
Yeah.
everyone that was in charge
It
of
is-
PR or community was there. The hardware team, the social teams. Again, even on Ninja Theory's side, you had Melina and the social lead Will. So you had
Yeah.
it was just so many people, and of course you had the big guns. You had your Todd Howard and your Phil Spencer and things like that there. And obviously Greenberg just kind of, I would say, almost dictating the atmosphere, but he was pretty much dictating the atmosphere.
He was
Yeah.
everywhere. I don't know how he does it. It felt like he has 3 clones running around. He was literally everywhere. And whenever you had a question or something, he was so approachable. That guy is insane. And he was literally the first guy in the morning to come and the last one to leave.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Aaron is crazy. But yes, I totally agree. I was really surprised about the presence of Xbox. We knew it was gonna be a big booth and so everything, but it kind of felt like it was the social hub of Gamescom overall. Because whenever you wanted to meet someone, someone DM'd you, let's meet up somewhere. The meeting point was always the Xbox booth. It was like just okay, where do we meet? Yeah, let's meet in front of the Xbox booth. Doesn't matter with whom, not even Xbox people. But it is. That's just shows you how they handled that social aspect and the community aspect really, really well. So
Yeah, they need to carry on doing that as well. It shouldn't just be we did it well now. Let's just build upon it, make it bigger, because I think it's actually really important, especially in Germany. Now, you people might think it's PlayStation Nation out in Germany. Vast majority of owners are PlayStation owners.
Yeah,
agree.
In terms of gamers in Germany, but when you there is value in these events, because when people attended, they were impressed by it, especially when PlayStation is completely absent. And then you see that community focus. You see even the little things, like the tattoo stand, which our friend got all over his neck like a psychopath. And then when the next day, just to go get it done again, so he can impress the ladies. Yeah, oh my God. He went at 7:15 p.m. just to go get it done and then go back to where he was before. I will tell you where. But yeah, it was just that you were right. The Xbox place was the hub, not just for us to meet, but it's just, even though its position was right far at the back of the hall, because it was so big and prominent, a lot of people just use that as a central, like naturally. I had some people like in the community who, been fans of my work, who like wearing the Source stuff, and they were like, come meet us at the Xbox place. Like, come, everyone was gathering there. Like, it's easier. It's not massive that you'll get lost. It's actually pretty. You got the entrance, you got Forza on the left, you've got the gameplay, Armored Core and stuff on the right. You had Stalker 2 just about in front of that, and at the back, you had this huge
Starfield Theater,
and the central stage. I think it was relegated to the leadership and filming and stuff. You see, IGN had that glass panel there just for them. That was
so
beautiful.
Cool. It was beautiful.
They don't deserve that. What the flip?
They looked the entire time directly on the Xbox booth, because they were located right next to them, and still forget to put Xbox in everything. And I had a good notice that they complained. They complained about the Starfield Theater being too loud, because whenever the presentation started, people were going, and then of course the bass came in and everything, and they complained about the noise.
And shut the up, we'll put you at the back of the merchandise area, then you can do your interviews. You're ungrateful shit.
And then apparently Xbox didn't turn the volume down; they cranked it up. So I love it.
Nice. They can write another article on the film. Xbox out over there.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna be good. Man.
Oh, please go ahead.
It was good, man. I loved it, man. I loved meeting everyone as well. So it's just a great event. Massive success for Xbox, I would say.
I just think it was just laid out better as well. The Xbox booth, like the way that they had it, was just a giant green carpeted area that was quite comfortable, and you could easily navigate between games. It was like, okay, there's a section of little games here. Stalker's there. Starfield's at the back. And you had Forza and Sea of Thieves and Aura and TOWERBORNE. Okay, sorted. So it was a nice little circle. It was an easy hub to get the games, whereas the other ones were just like a block, and then you kind of crammed inside of this block trying to play this game.
Yeah.
It was just like you say, it added to the atmosphere, I think, and then it was just fantastic. I think the way they did it. So hats off to them.
All the staff are really friendly as well.
Yeah.
The Xbox staff actually. Everyone, I can't think of a single one. Other stuff, there were other places. They were like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah,
there was a guy at the Xbox right in front of the Forza booth, and I was like, mate, do you know whether I need a charging station for my phone, because I'm so badly organized? I didn't bring my charger with me to the holiday. And then he was like, and he was just genuinely like, I don't know where it is, but just give me 1 sec. Just ran back to ask a colleague, and he said, like, check out hallway 9 if you can't find it, or let me know. I was like, what? I was like, don't worry. I felt bad. I was like, yo, you didn't need to do all that. If you didn't know, don't worry, man. And the same kind of thing applied to everyone, like everyone, including including one very special lady that my friend tried it on with. But yeah, they were lovely, man. Just it was such a good, pleasant experience. It was really nice. I'm so used to so much just bureaucracy with these things. So much you can't do this. Hey, security, stop it, everything. Being really rigid. That the Xbox thing, it took me aback. Like it was very friendly. You guys were all lovely. Everyone was really nice. But normally, like especially in the UK with the EGX, it's like, right, mate, no, you can't go, can't do that. Don't do this. You'll have some sweaty person with a free hug sign, and it's just like, why am I here? But this time it was just brilliant, man. It was really good. Xbox need to double down on it, continue that stronger, improve it though for the content creators. And I'm not talking about press, I'm talking about content creators, because content creators, in my opinion, biased, sure, but I think the more, if you're as a company, you're the people who will wax lyrical or be extremely critical are us lot, and we are there at the front lines. You know, we're not press, we're enthusiasts. I mean, we do this off the back of our own money. We just go out there. We enjoy this stuff. So if I was Xbox focused, not saying that they didn't, but in all companies, focus on the content creators. Almost like give press their time, but give content creators in their YouTube space, whatever, an equal slot. And just the similar kind of, you'll get better returns as a business model. You will get better returns because we're fans. We love that shit. We'll go out. We're happy to meet you guys. And we're not your, press. Like I won't mention one of them who gave you the cold shoulders. I'm sorry, I'm very busy. Oxenberger. If you knew who he's talking about or I'm talking about, then you'd be like, oh shit. And you see that a lot of Boxer. You see a lot of press really up their own arse. I've seen, that's why I came from such a jaded kind of almost defensive attitude, because I've done this so many times for over 10 years. I've been to so many shows. So I'm used to that. So like even between us, like I was like, not you guys. You guys were you guys literally turned out to be exactly how I imagined. It's just amazing. But some others like I was like, I was side-eyeing Xbox era a little bit. I'm like, they're gonna be like, they behave a bit like Presser. They're gonna be dicks. John was lovely, and I was just really like, I just speak my mind, man. I'm not gonna lie about anything. But John was lovely. His missus or girlfriend, I think. She was lovely. Yeah. She tolerated my friends. That means a lot because I don't tolerate my friends. So everyone's really nice. It was good, man. It's just good company. Absolutely. And people in chat, if you can make the show, please. I know it's not. You'll be in America. It's a nightmare. Colt tried. Me and him were on the Discord call. Try to get it. It's such a headache for the US people to come in. But if you're in Europe, you can't afford it. It is worth saving up and just coming down. Like just making preparations and just meeting us. It's epic. And
even my wife said next year she is coming along. So
yeah, my girlfriend said the same thing as well. I was like, no, stay at home, please.
You can't get saucy with the wife there.
I was just like, I can't do half the things I do when you're there. No, I'm a good boy. No, but but next year we're gonna go bigger. We're gonna go better. Now, like we know each other, we met each other. We're gonna organize something really good. Everything was last minute. We were just like texting each other. Okay, let's get a WhatsApp group. Obviously, we did the whole ticket thing to help each other out. But the next time we'll all be on the same page. We'll all do the application. They were quite late as well one day with Dutch. Because of you. Dutch was on the front line sorting everything out, by the way. So thank you, Dutch. Like half the shit I didn't even know. Oh, Gaz, it's open, apply. Okay. Oh, Gaz, Xbox Fan Fest is open, apply. Okay. Hey, like I was like a freaking embryo. Like I'm mad. I was literally like licking off the WandrinDutch's teeth. But you breastfed me. The calcium is in my bones now. I'm ready to now become part of you guys. The breast milk tastes good, and next year it'll taste even better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be epic, man. Sorry, I lost my voice. too much crack. Next.
That was good. It was good. Like you
but
said,
we also need to
go on.
Yeah,
Go
please.
on. Have you got super chats or something to get to?
I just wanted to no. I just wanted to shout out our Broody Urban because he helped us out a lot.
He did.
With stuff to get into and
FanFest specifically.
He knows a lot of people, introduced us to a lot of folks. So wouldn't have been the same experience without him.
Yeah,
so
FanFest
shout out
was
to
the
him. He's
funniest
also in
one
the chat, by the way.
FanFest, we all got a decline email followed by an acceptance email.
Yes.
Declined, accepted.
Yeah.
So I think that was Aaron G. Just like there's magic there.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys. So, but let's talk about some of the things we actually played and have seen. What were some of your highlights, guys? What would you say, games-wise, that you've seen stood out to you?
Starfield, of course. He's
Starfield, which I went to see. I really liked the graphics of Starfield and the audio of Starfield and the gameplay of Starfield and the textures of Starfield and the story of other than Starfield, and it's so funny being lucky enough to play it and watching it is wild out in the streets. The Twitter streets, it is Wild West. Like I'm like watching this. I'm like gathering receipts. This is what I do. Just gathering receipts of what's happening there. But in terms of actually playing anything on Gamescom or watching anything on Gamescom, Armored Core is out now, and that was me and you played it together, didn't we?
Yeah,
Foxy?
we played it together. Yeah.
And you said you found it actually remarkably easier to get into compared to the other Souls games. So that was and I agree with you. I felt the same. Like, just take your time to look at the menu. I was like, all right, okay, that's how you dash. That's how you navigate. The scale of that game was really good. The highlight, though, was absolutely kicking the out of you on Tekken 8.
You had to bring this up. You had to.
But yeah, man, I'll put that up there. That was my highlight of Gamescom.
It was fun. It was fun. Even getting my ass kicked, it was a lot of fun. And I think that's with a lot of games that we played. When they were co-op, they automatically became more fun. So it was just a blast, standing there at the booth with you, getting my ass kicked. And Tekken, it's been a long time since I played a Tekken. I honestly have to think it's probably 15 years or so. So I'm not a big Tekken guy. Mortal Kombat is the one I'm looking forward to.
I didn't get to play that.
You didn't?
Man, that's my favorite fighting game of all them. Mortal Kombat.
Okay, they had a big booth. Dutch, did you play it?
Huge line.
Yeah.
Huge line because of the traded thing.
They had a little one on the Xbox stage, by the way.
Yeah.
Did they? I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's where I played it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they had Mortal Kombat, Diablo. Strangely enough, they had Diablo there.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls at the back, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, of course. Played that a little bit.
Yeah.
I
did not play that. How did it play?
Phantom Liberty. You played it?
Yeah. It
no
looked
way.
beautiful.
What did you think about it?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Again, it's I love Cyberpunk anyway, so it was just a few more of the new weapons, a new car, and kind of just a glimpse of the world and the update that they've added to it. And yeah, it looks beautiful, as you'd expect.
What did you play it on? PC or console?
Console.
Okay.
Console.
What console?
Series X.
Were there any noticeable changes in the gameplay or anything? Or did it just play like the main game?
Yeah, it's just like the game, but the main changes, of course, that you had with the new weapons and the new vehicles that they had there. The vehicle that I was using was the one that had the guns in the front, a bit like because I've got car combat now, which they've added to it, so you can in police chases and things like that. So they've added all that to the game, which is obviously people were wanting at the start. to have police chases, so they've added that in. So they've added vehicle combat and everything now too. So yeah, it looks fantastic. It's gonna look mind blowing on PC. That game's gonna be another level. But
it already looks insane. Since
We
they
talking about
had
Starfield or Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk.
Oh,
Cyberpunk.
we
You-
know
you-
Starfield looks tasty. Come on, guys. Oh, but speaking of which, poor Iron Lords and Addict, because Addict today said it was his game of the year.
Oh, you're not allowed to say that. Oh, Addict.
And people couldn't forget it because
Addict
his super
said-
chats.
slips.
Yeah, his super chats kept bringing it up every 2 seconds. It was a slip of the tongue, and his super chats didn't let him live it that down. So that's unfortunate.
Ooh, Addict, you naughty. I agree. That's not a word. That's not a word. You can't get me for it's not a word. But I agree with his agreement. I agree with his assessment. No. I
Guess
agree that
better
he
shut
said
up.
it. I agree that he said it. I'm not saying
He said it.
it.
Okay.
agree that-
Okay.
I
Okay.
agree with fuck. How did I fuck myself when I was laughing at him? No. Fuck. I can see why he said that. Because I was in party chat with him. And he's just playing it for quite some time. And the bastard doesn't even talk. Like, he was just talking about the game. Like, how you do? Oh my God, I'm firing lasers and shit. I'm like, shut the fuck up and talk to me, you piece of shit. I hardly joined party chat with you. But no, okay. Look, in a few days, 5 days? How many days?
5 days or
Friday.
so, yeah.
Yep, Friday.
Oh, boys, I can't wait till you guys play it.
I still have FOMO because I will be in Italy, going there tomorrow.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
until 9th
Wait, take your
or 10th
Asus.
of September. Yeah, I have the Ally. I have it pre-installed on the Ally. But I hear different things. I hear from one source that the drivers are not ready to support it on the Ally, and AMD will
Okay.
release those at the official launch day and not, the early access. And I
Yeah.
hear another source telling me
It works fine.
it runs good.
Yep.
There.
I've heard it works fine as well
okay.
on the Ally.
So I don't know who to trust now. Yeah.
Okay. I don't
Big
know.
Philly's playing it on his Ally. I know that.
Yeah, but he has a
That's
different version of the Ally,
Yeah, he's got a
Doesn't-
super.
Who's
It
Big
doesn't
Philly?
count.
Phil Spencer?
Yeah.
Phil Spencer, yeah.
He's playing on that Ally. I need to get the
Yeah.
Ally. Phil Spencer has one. Fuck.
You definitely do. It's a fantastic device, bro.
And it's
I'm
all.
going to trade my Stream Deck for it. 100%.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice. I mean,
I don't know
the
how to
one
do
thing
it, but-
with the Ally, it's a really overall a fantastic device. There are two things with it. The first is the battery life.
Mhm.
Like a good hour is max.
Okay.
What you can run it on, and that's actually not the real problem. The problem is that it is not charging with power banks. So you have to have at least a 65-watt power supply for the device to actually charge. So
That's good.
basically, you have to use the one coming out of the box, and you cannot charge it with a power bank. That's
How
that's
would
a
you
bummer.
how would you remotely charge it then? It's not, you can't, like
You
on a
can't.
plane or something. So you'll
No.
have an hour of gameplay, that's it done.
and that's it.
That's a
That's
big
a
weakness,
big
man.
like I would understand of course it would not charge as fast with a power bank or a smaller charger, but you have to have at least 65 watts for it to charge at all. So that's a real bummer. And the second thing is actually not an Ally thing, but a Windows thing. It literally simply runs Windows. You boot it up and you're on your Windows home screen. And so you have to deal with all the Windows shit, like driver updates and shit. And that sometimes simply sucks when you just want to play for 10 minutes while sitting on the toilet, and then, okay, Windows update, fuck you. But other than that, the Ally is a fantastic device.
You see, it's perfect for me because I can play Xbox Game Pass games on it.
Yes, you
And I
can.
will get it. It's just a bit weird. Charge it. I could charge it at work, I guess,
Yeah.
on the journey back because I'm going an hour and a
Mm.
half pace of journey from to and from work.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing the Switch and I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom. But I want to play. I'll get it, man, because you know I 90% of my gaming is on Xbox, and that
Yeah, same.
would extend my gaming. And Steam Deck,
Yeah.
disgracefully, I've hardly used it. Maybe like hardly. You could probably count it on my hands. It's just sitting in the case. It's not a cheap device to just wasted there. Whereas with that one, I would use it all the time. What's the screen like in terms of size comparison to Steam Deck?
Ooh. A little bit bigger, but it's
Bigger than the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I think like 0.2 inches or so.
Oh, okay.
It's a tiny bit bigger. But it's a full HD, so 1080p and 120 hertz HDR screen, and it is beautiful. Like,
Ooh.
I have never seen a more beautiful handheld screen, and that includes the Switch OLED, which is considered to be the best screen on the market. But this one is just like 120 hertz, butter smooth, crisp colors. And the other thing is the speaker system is insanely good. You have never heard a better speaker system out of a portable device. Like pure magic. Really, it's fantastic.
Oh, damn. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I for me it's definitely a recommendation, but I get that a lot of people say, well, $800. I don't know how much it is in the UK, but here in mainland Europe it's 800 euros, which is quite a lot to ask, you know.
I think it's about 750 over here. It's not too much different.
Yeah. So, but much like you guys, I travel a lot for work, so I decided it's my Xbox handheld, and it is doing a great job. And I can also play my Steam library and Epic and everything on it. So, playing Baldur's Gate on it. Yeah, played Baldur's Gate while traveling to Gamescom and back. So, yeah. We have Blaze 4K.
That's an extension of his skin.
Yeah, looks like you're not wearing a shirt. You know, it's kind of true. I actually kind of looked at them there. It looks like I'm just wearing topless. You've been hanging around. Oh, no, it's Alex Stewart. Shout out to Blaze.
Guess what is it? I got asked a lot if you ran around in Cologne the entire time naked. So I always said I can neither confirm nor deny it. So
well, yeah, it was all oiled up and everything. He was just sliding around the place. Slippery.
Oh man, I'm always oiled up. Especially for Blaze 4K. Blaze is. I was actually thinking about Blaze today.
I bet you.
The piece of crap never reached. When I was naked. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he never reaches out to me. I always have to reach out to him. But Blaze was. Blaze is a PlayStation. He plays on everything. He's actually a lot on PC, but he's a diehard PlayStation guy. He's known for that. And Blaze has always said that the one thing he's envious of about the Xbox community is the community who support each other and the content creators support each other and the fans also. And he's always been critical of that. And I was thinking of that today. I was like, because I've been doing this for a while, but I feel like things have come to a point where the Xbox community was good. It was building a community. It was strong. Definitely compared to PlayStation, it is leaps and bounds ahead. Which is something I think PlayStation really they don't give a shit, but they really should make effort to change. And I was thinking of Blaze, and Blaze is going to be like, oh, look at you guys are just forming a human centipede. You guys are just weird. But I actually feel for Blaze, even though he plays on everything. Like, there are good guys on the PlayStation side that they are missing out on that community feel. And you can reconcile that by thinking, oh, it's just a bunch of people shilling or blah, blah, blah. But you're already missing out the fun. So I was thinking about Blaze today. I was just thinking about, man, I want him to experience like it firsthand. Come to Gamescom or come to another event and see what it's like, and the bot side of things. But shout out to Blaze. He's one of the most down to earth, legit, real people out there. Absolutely atrocious decorum in terms of responding to messages and actually caring. But he'll make an excuse about, oh, my health and blah, blah. Shut the flip up. You're playing crappy SOCOM all day. I hate you, Lace. Hate you. No, but shout out to him.
Yeah, shout
He's a
out to
really nice
him.
guy.
Thanks for hanging out with us here today. Like everyone in the chat. I know we have big competition right now in parallel. Sunday evening is
With
German.
the Lion Lords?
Yeah,
Good luck with that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you screwed yourself there, but okay.
Yeah. It was the only window we could squeeze in, like,
Yeah.
you know,
sometimes you
with
can't.
family duties and travels and everything. So, but we would definitely wanted to use this opportunity to just once more talk about all the stuff we've seen. So, guys, Starfield, I know you can't really talk about, but you've seen the theater presentation, right, at Gamescom. But I let Dutch speak about that. What was your impression? They've shown like the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, and then the live action trailer, basically. You also, in the version you saw, they showed the Fallout TV series,
Yes,
right?
Yes, indeed.
Lucky bastard.
So it's only shown twice that day. And John caught the first one in the morning on the press segment, and I caught the only other one, which is at 2:00 on that day, which Todd Howard and Pete Hines also joined. So we saw the opening. It was technically the opening 2 hours of the game, but condensed into 20 minutes. But yeah, it was super. I mean, the opening impressions of the game in itself, just from a graphical standpoint, is by far and away one of the best looking games that Todd Howard has produced, if not the best game he's produced. It's also, from an atmosphere standpoint, one of the best atmospheres I've seen in the game this gen, bar none. That's not even just a Bethesda title, that just means in general. Like, level of detail on the outfits and things like that was just insane. It was like all the different bits of rivets, all the different stitches for the arm patches and everything was just showing off perfectly. It was super detailed. Really, really high quality. But then the ambient occlusion and the lighting and the cave and everything like that, and it really give a sense of atmosphere. And then they mix that with the good voice acting, the lip sync and everything was done really well, considering they don't use mocap. The eyes are still dead, but again, because they don't use mocap, they're not capturing anything really. They're just using the engine as it is. Potentially that's the only area where I'd ever ask Bethesda to try and change, is try and sort out the dead eyes. I don't know how you're going to do it, but fix it. I don't think I would just crank it up another notch, I think, on the visuals, because then people would have one less thing they could be concerned about. But overall, the music combined with the level of detail, combined with the ambient occlusion and the lighting that they used in the game, really set the tone, and it's one of the more mysterious and intriguing intros to a game I've played for quite some time. When you want a space game and you want a game about kind of exploring and things like that, you need a sense of mystery and a sense of intrigue, and the intro to this game sets that up perfectly. Like, exactly what I thought. And it was just like you're walking down the caves, you're doing your mining, etc. Right, okay, there's a weird anomaly going on over here, we need to go and check it out. Right, okay, you go and check that out, and if there anything happen, we'll just round the corner and we'll come and get you. So you go over, check the anomaly, boom, then you black out. And then you wake up and it's character creation time. And obviously we know we've all seen the character creation now. It's hyper detailed, you've got a lot of choice to do there. After that, then we saw a little bit of the normal combat at the space station. Just with a pistol, a little bit of thing, but everyone was interacting. All the AIs were shooting each other and getting behind cover and things like that. And then you take off into space. Do space combat.
The chat says no spoilers.
It's not a spoiler. Bro. It's not a spoiler. It's 20 minutes of the opening 2 hours.
It's literally the opening couple of minutes. Yeah.
It's a bit weird that I can't talk about that, even though you can, because you've seen that.
Yeah.
But
we've seen it. We can talk about it. They didn't allow us to record it.
You just can't talk about it.
On the basis of what you said, and my view limited
just to the
opening
what
section. You've seen, which is the opening section. Visually, that what? Come on, man! Visually, that game.
It looked phenomenal. In
Look
the
at how
pieces
good the
they've shown.
graphics were, or the visuals.
Yeah,
on that.
Absolutely.
And so someone in chat, don't what the terrain popping.
No.
Don't like.
Yes, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
Maybe we just move on to a game we can all talk about.
But those bits you saw, I played, like everyone saw, the public saw that. They lined up, didn't sign NDAs. And tell me, does that game look beautiful? Does it look current gen to you?
It looked phenomenal. The lighting really stood out to me. I know a lot of people talk about the textures, but the lighting is the thing that
is. I mean, even the trailers. Everyone's seen it. The lighting.
Everyone's seen it. Is phenomenal.
This is why this game is 30. And if you took it away and gave me a 60 option, I don't want it. I don't want it. If
it means taking the lighting away,
it will look like ass without the lighting. You will disagree with me.
Yeah.
Wait till you play it, and then come back to me and say, right.
Yeah.
They should take the lighting away and give us 60. Well, if you want it, fine, but it doesn't make sense. The whole atmosphere. You talked about the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And that was only a small part of the soundtrack you sampled.
Yeah.
Wait till you play the rest of the game.
It was just set up so well. Is that opening segment just set up the atmosphere and the intrigue of the game so well that, again, Erwin, who really had zero interest in the game, ended up pre-ordering pretty much then and there. He went,
more or less live on the show floor. Yeah.
Yeah. He turned to me watching it, and he just went, "Can you get the premium edition like you can with Forza?" I was like, "Yep." He was like, "I'm buying it." I was like, "Yep."
My friend Ben in the game chat, PlayStation guy, he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Starfield is is going to be the first true system seller for Xbox this gen.
Oh yeah.
Because you can talk about Forza Horizon 5 being a great game, but racing games are not system sellers usually. Yeah, there are few people that buy a console for a racing game because all consoles have them, and there are so many third-party options that are great. So, and Halo Infinite, it just didn't have the same pull. Yeah, and this one is the one you can tell they are ramping up the marketing. It showed really well at Gamescom. The theater presentation obviously was. For me, we've all seen the game, but the difference for us was for the first time we've seen it without compression, and the compression usually does things to games on YouTube, especially when it comes to like stuff like texture detail and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and looked and showed phenomenal. So yeah. Only a few more days, guys. Only a few more days.
What I would like to say as well, before we do move on, aside from talking about the game itself, is how the game was received. So we'd seen it, we'd done all that stuff.
Yeah.
And every time they showed off a new one, because we haven't spoke about this on our shows yet, every time they showed off a new airing of the Starfield demonstration to people, there was rapturous applause at the start, the rapturous applause at the end, and then a new group would go in and it would be exactly the same. You could literally time your watch off it. You would come into the hall, you'd hear cheering, you'd be like, Starfield.
Starfield. Yeah, you could hear it across the entire hall, and it was just, people were lining up for hours. On the public day, on Thursday, the line said 4+ hours.
Yeah. Just to
see it. Just for a theater presentation.
And
you weren't able to play
presentation, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Everyone went in knowing it was just video of the game being played, not playing the game. And that has to be one of the wildest things we've seen to kind of showcase just how hyped people are for the game. Because there were queues to play games, significant queues to play games at Gamescom, but they were to play games. There was nowhere near any of the level of hype for any of these other show ones where you could only see them, as there was Starfield. That just blew the doors off.
Like the next one, Let's use the segue. Forza also only gets shown in a theater presentation, but the theater was probably only like 20% of the size of the Starfield thing, and there were lines, about an hour. But nowhere to the amount of what Starfield pulled.
Nope.
So, but before we talk about Starfield, let me briefly catch up on the supers.
I've got one
Dutch,
to
you
go
have
as well.
also, you also have to go through. So, Pyromat sent in a channel member chat and actually forgot to type in something. But shout out to you and thanks for being a channel member. Appreciate you. And Smitty Smith sends in a channel member support that says, "Good afternoon, everyone, and salute." Yeah, good evening from Germany, but salute to you, brother. So, Dutch, catch up.
Yes, Fanto Sir, £2 super chat. He just says, shout out to 3 of my favourite podcasting humans. Thank you very much, Fanto Sir.
Are you both streaming on your own channels?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we did. We usually do on Wednesday, the midweek mix up on his show, and then Thursday on his channel, and on Thursday the World of Gaming here on this channel. But yeah, we won't have those shows for the next 2 weeks, and so we wanted to do one today before we go into the summer break, and we just decided, let's co-stream it. So.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Can't see these super chats. I was like, what?
So yeah,
Fanto says it's 100 hours until Starfield's release. That's almost as long as the Black Myth Wukong line.
Yep, almost. People are still standing in line for that game.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, I actually wanted to play that real bad. This is the one thing that I didn't play that I really wanted to play, Black Myth Wukong.
Well, it was 3 hours though on trade day, and it was 5 hours on public day.
Yeah.
Like from the off, it wasn't even just like a little minute. We went straight in the front doors on public day when it opened, and as soon as we got to the booth, it was 5 hours.
Yeah. I want to
It
play
was.
that game. Again, I'm side-eyeing it. Like, because Boxy, your view on Stalker 2, you were happy with the way it looked. Erwin, though, thought it looked like ass. So
I don't know what he has played.
It was on PC, though, so maybe his PC.
It was on
settings were
PC.
messed up.
So it is. We know 2 things about the Stalker thing that I actually found out after FanFest. When talking to Aaron Greenberg, this demo came in really hot. They were literally downloading that shit overnight and in the morning before the booth opened. So
really? Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
none of the Xbox staff had played it before the booth opened, and so that's definitely one thing. The other thing is, yes, it was on PC. Did it look the same like it was in the trailers? Probably not. They changed a couple of things, but then also we have to think that we have seen this game never in continued gameplay. We've only seen like very tiny segments.
Bullshots,
bullshots and stuff like that. So we never actually, in the trailers, we never had the chance to see like textures up close, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things I was impressed by. For the first time in an Unreal 5 game, we have not seen like a rock demo, but an actual, forest, leaves, everything, vast landscape, and that really looked good. The one thing I didn't like about or there were actually two minor things I didn't like about the graphics were, I expected more of Nanite in this game. Like Nanite is supposed to solve the problem when you get close to textures that they get muddy and blurry. Yeah, and there were some things like the trees. When you I literally walked straight into a tree just to see it. It worked perfectly. But when I walked into like a big rock, the rocks looked a little blurry. So that was the one thing, and the other thing is the facial animations. You've seen the demos, right? Where with the guy with the teeth and everything.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And in the game, they didn't look the same. They looked like very video game character-y, like.
Really?
So other than that, it ran flawlessly. Obviously, we were playing on PC, and they didn't tell me the specs of the PC. I asked them, but they didn't tell me. So I would assume it was like a very high-end PC. I don't expect the game to look the same on console, to be honest, because they did some really cool things with, like, we were talking about lighting in Starfield. Yeah. They had that as well. They had global illumination there traced, and that looked phenomenal. Like there was one scene where a thunderstorm came in, and like I was in a building and the lightning struck the building, and you could see it was amazing how that looked. The frame rates obviously super stable. There in the demo, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what Erwin did though, because he didn't even finish the demo, and in the same time I finished it twice. I have no idea how he played the game. So,
but how long was the demo? How long was the demo?
I would say like it really depends on how you play it. My first playthrough was only like 5 minutes, and the second 15, because there was like a mission. You had to go to a certain village, and on this way you met a guy who got attacked by dogs, and I was trying to help the guy, and I accidentally shot him, and so he attacked me. I killed, and then he attacked me. I shot him. I went to the village. Everyone was angry at me and started to attack me. I killed them all, and then said end of the demo. The second time I played it, I helped the guy actually with the dog. He talked to me a little bit. I went into the village. Everyone was friendly, and then the demo continued on. So, it was like, I would say 15 minutes.
Got a couple of chats in here for you as well, actually, Boxy. But first of all, Paul Drew 999 super chat there. He didn't leave a message, but then he followed up with just a thank you for all you do for the community and the great content. So thank you very much, Paul.
That's very nice.
Appreciate you.
Next up is Paul Ramos, though he had sweet shirt, Boxy.
Yeah. Got that from you.
Yes, indeed.
Little gift.
We traded. Got
we traded.
And thanks for your shirt as well, Boxy. That was really nice.
Absolutely.
I should have given you guys a soul shirt, but
it's all good. I was going to say next year, we're already planning for next year.
Don't worry.
Next year is going to be a bit different. I'm going to take a bunch of shirts to give away to community and friends and things like that. So it's I'm already pre-planning.
Yeah.
Jedi Red Eye Jedi in chat also says, Boxy, can't wait for Stalker 2. Currently building my first PC for it. Excited and terrified.
Yeah. Better put some good parts in there, because this game is going to be demanding.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a massive open world RPG, people think it's more like a survival game, but it's really not. You have like a skill tree and everything. Although they said they have currently like, I can't remember, there's 3 or 5 versions of the UI, and they haven't decided yet on the UI which one to use. So
it's quite far away then, isn't it? It sounds like
they said Q1 24.
So they've got I've got a good 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, something like that. So, and when you play such a massive open world, they have dozens of different endings for the game. Your choices really matter and stuff like that. And you play like this little small slice of it. You can't really judge the entire game. But if the little slice from what I played is representative of the full game, I must say I'm really excited for it. I think this has the potential to be like a true hit for Xbox. Seriously,
really?
This is
So gameplay wise, it was pretty like more than
gunplay
solid.
Perfect. You know just how you wanted it. Like the guns packed the punch.
Yeah.
Like the sound was like really good of those. The animations like reloading and so super cool. Like it felt really good. Movement was exactly the way it's supposed to be, not too fast, not too slow. Like
that's good.
They nailed it. Gameplay wise, they nailed it. Obviously, we will see with an open world RPG how it turns out with the story and the world building. Is it empty or not? But in the little segment we played, like you encountered multiple like side missions and stuff. So I'm hopeful for it. Honestly, I think everyone should have this on their radar. It has the potential to become a really, really good game.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it now. I regret I didn't get to play it. That was the game I was most looking forward to playing. When
Yeah.
people
That
asked
also
me,
had a
but I
mega
just
queue
didn't-
as well, by the way. That I had like to play that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like 4 hours plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like there was an energy drink supplier actually bringing them as support for the Ukrainian fellows, like
Oh, wow, okay.
trays and trays of energy drinks for the people waiting in line for Stalker 2. That was really cool to see. Like,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. So what else did we see? Forza.
Yes.
How did you guys feel about Forza?
Thought it looked great. It looked impressive. I thought it a lot of obviously we got footage up. Erwin got footage up pretty much straight after.
Yeah.
They just asked him to hold off until midday to put it up, so he held off. Then, as soon as 12 o'clock struck, he was like, "There it goes, it's on." And I recorded some. And the one thing you can't tell by the Forza footage, especially recorded on the phone in the theater, is the actual sound. So it does sound really good. The cars sound nice and meaty. I like the sound of the tires on the road, and when you're going over the warning bumps on the side and things.
Yeah.
Everything felt meaty. Everything felt like it had weight. It looked like the handling and everything was drastically improved, and that what actually was happening with the tires was affecting the way he was going around some of these corners as well. So when he was he was going over the bumps on the side. You could
see the weight shift.
That was really nice. Even I noticed that. You know the sound it makes when you go over the zzz, go over that thing.
And you could tell
side.
You could tell.
It just like jutted a bit. I was like, oh, and that's when you realize, oh damn, we always think like, what more can they do? It's like this is a basic thing. We've never really had that before. That really weighty thing. I was surprised by that. But the console warrior in me was like, ray tracing.
Yeah.
But the rest
of
it,
really hard to tell, wasn't it? Really hard to tell.
It's really hard to tell. There are few things you can always look out for to see if there's ray tracing or not. One thing that is I always say to people is when you want to see ray tracing, look for self reflections.
Yeah.
So objects, do they reflect themselves? For instance, you can look at the side mirror of a car and see if the side mirror is reflected on the car body.
Yeah.
This is always a good way to tell if you have the objects reflect themselves. That is something you will not see with any other technique. And the second thing is, do shadows get cut off
or diffused?
The diffusion can be done with the different techniques, but like again, if you look at the shadow of the car, is the shadow going to be broken off by the review mirror and the space in between the review mirror and the car body, for instance? So this is like little things, but you were not able to see that during the racing because they had like bright sunlight, and it's the worst thing to show off ray tracing. And so it was really hard to tell, is there really ray tracing? There were a couple of scenes where I thought I've seen self-reflection in the car, but it was like so quick and everything that I wouldn't take my word on it. So guess we have to take their word for it because they said, 4K 60 with ray tracing in race.
And Phil Spencer said it as well, believe it or not, in his interview. He said, I've been playing it behind. He's been playing a different build. He said he's just got the take-home build for them to kind of sit and play. So they're playing that now. And he said on-track ray tracing.
X?
Yeah. He said he's playing on the Series X, on his Ally and everything. He's got the take-home build now for staff to play and review and play and etc. And he mentioned again on-track ray tracing. So it's there in a capacity, whether or not that's maybe... whether or not they've changed it and got like upscaled 4K with ray tracing at 60, and then you've got one that's native 4K 60 without ray tracing, which is what I'm thinking might be the case. They've got one that's just using kind of an upscaling technique from 2K to 4K, which has ray tracing, and another one that is actually solid 4K 60. But like you, Boxy, the lighting I think was the only downside, and I wish they'd stop showcasing games like every game like that. Don't show it in direct sunlight; it doesn't look the best. Like you need some form of weather going on there, whether it be like a sunset or slightly cloudy, just slight enough to give some form of darkness and difference in contrast.
Yeah.
Just anything, a little bit of rain, maybe's. But yeah, other than that, game looked fantastic. It looks absolutely ready to ship. I love the way that you level up the cars. I love the penalty system.
Yeah, that was cool.
I love how
That
you
was
can
cool.
choose the difficulty depending on where you start in a race. You can choose to start at the beginning or you can choose to start at the back of the pack and make it more difficult for yourself and try to fight yourself to the front. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be good.
It is. So I obviously had a very special presentation because we did sneak in the morning, and they haven't even started yet, and the guys were sitting in the Forza theater from the Forza team like, what are you doing here? And we said, yeah, Aaron let us in, and just wanted to see if the game's already in a good state. And they said, hey, let's you guys use as the practice round to rehearse our thing one more time. And they gave us a dedicated presentation, and afterwards we were able, of course, to ask a few questions, actually. So one of the questions I asked, of course, was what was it running on? And they had a dev kit there. Actually, first time I've seen a dev kit in the wild for the Series X, you know. So it was running on the build. And then I asked the question, why is it not playable? Because I get why Starfield wasn't playable. It's like, this game is so massive. What kind of slice can you give in people's hands that is representative of the final game? I get that, but with Forza, you can easily do like just one lap and let everyone do one race or so, like 3 minutes, and be done with it. And they didn't really say why, but Erwin and I, we were like agreeing that we read in between the lines that they have the feeling that this game is gonna feel so different for everyone because it feels so realistic, and they didn't want to confuse people on the show floor. This is what is now my personal interpretation of what they said. They never said really why they didn't give it in people's hands, but we talked about it for a while with them. And that's my personal interpretation of why they didn't give it in people's hands, because it will feel different than other racing games, because it is so realistic. With that super heavy tire interaction, like weight shifters and completely overhaul of the physics engine, it will feel different. And I just take their word for it. And I'm not the biggest sim racer guy, more of a Horizon kind of guy, but having seen the story mode, like how the levels actually, the car levels up, and they really go for this car PG experience in the story mode. I just might play that for sure. But guess what are your thoughts, man? I've been talking on for way too long.
Forza's shit.
Okay, there you go. Let's move on.
No, I agree with you. And I think you raise a good point about that should have had a playable hands-on time. Typically they do a demo. We're not getting that this time, and it's not like Starfield. Starfield you can't really make a demo for. It's just stupid. But Forza should have been playable because it looked good. The guy was right next to us playing it, and it looked really good. I was actually I was like, yo, let me play a little bit. But then if I did it, everyone was gonna do it. They would never have said yes. But the game, other than the ray tracing stuff, the game looks beautiful, looks crisp, looks clean. The sounds are really good because the guy who was standing in front of us with the microphone announcing everything with the American accent, and we're here, we got 30 cars, and shut the fuck. And then he just shut up. And then we could hear the car sounds as well. And he said it, because I'm going to be quiet now and let you hear the best commentary. And it was the engine sound, the car sound, the tires squealing. It was nice. So Forza is going to be pretty solid.
And to confirm as well, it was actual gameplay that we saw. We both of us in both of these situations asked for things to be changed. So Gaz shouted out and said, "Well, can we have like a real, like an actual out of car view, not in the cockpit?" And so we changed it, and we could see it outside of the car as he was driving around and things like that. And there was a few things that we'd asked for to be changed whilst it was being raced. So we knew that it was actually gameplay happening on screen, and it wasn't just him pretending to play. So it was good. It was good.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, it was nice. They were really nice. Told him to increase the difficulty and stop being bitch, and he did it.
Yeah.
He told him to go out of cockpit, and he did it. So he was really nice, and he did all right. Came second or third, I think. So it's not bad. But there are little touches like that I really like. Are the starting grid. You have a choice of where you want to start. If you start near the bottom, you get more credits, possibly more XP. Game is harder because you're starting at the back. That kind of stuff. The XP for driving cleaner as well, and just getting that that stuff will just promote players to actually understand better driving lines, as well as understanding being almost coached not to. If you play Forza 7 now, which I've been playing, you can ram right into the second car. Like if you're in third place or fourth place, just cut through the track. Just basically cheat. The game doesn't penalize you, and it's like I'm just smashing into the second car, getting tilted, and I'm just bam, bam, bam. This can't be taken seriously if you can do that. I mean, I know a lot of racers do it, but this is changing all of that. The penalizing and that stuff. Also, the multiplayer that they've got. Owen is the guy to talk to about this, but he was talking about you get very similar to Gran Turismo, and then that it will penalize you for driving like a prick. So I have very little worries about Forza. It just looked really nice. It just looked solid. It wasn't like wow. I think because at this stage, can a racing game even go? That's not an arcade game, because it did. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen the train. It looks nice. In game, the track looks nice. The cars, racing games are very close to reality in terms of photorealism, and so it just looks like it looks very solid after Starfield. And if it lands where I think it would land, and then Forza, if those both games hit strongly, then it's gonna be a tremendous shift in the perception of Xbox.
I agree.
Which has did a great at the start of the gen, but through that,
I don't think they did good at the gen. They started this gen without any games. They didn't have a game for 10 months.
They run up to it was good,
like
power, narrative, blah blah blah. Everything looked promising. Gamepass, and then acquisitions, and now we're starting to reap the rewards of it. It seems though, it's obviously this will come.
I agree.
think a lot of people are skeptical now, because Xbox has always messed up a sure thing. But I think things are.
That's the thing, guys. I've been telling that to Dutch. As much as I'm looking forward to 24, what they have coming. I mean, if we take their history as a track record, both Hellblade and About will get delayed. And then, but it definitely feels like Xbox is finally where they wanted to be, to have like a regular good content coming. We have Starfield in a few days, October, then with Forza. Then we have in Q1 Stalker 2, which looks very promising so far. And then Avowed and Hellblade, and actually another game that was playable in 24, TOWERBORNE. Have you guys played that?
You know I have, because I played it with
of
you.
course, I played it with you, but guys, Hang on, before we answer that, like catch up on the supers because I always feel bad when I get like 2 hours later to the super chat. So Pyromet sends in a £2 and says, "Who's looking forward to Bump Rush Cyberpunk?"
Me.
Yep.
I'm looking
I'll
forward
not
to
get
that.
it through it straight away. I'm gonna. It's because obviously Starfield's gonna take my life up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be like my Christmas holiday kind of games. So I have a couple of games I will just hold off on for the Christmas break.
Yeah.
It feels like that's the one. So yeah, Towerborne. Yes, have you played it before Dutch and I talk about our playthrough?
Very briefly, like 2 minutes, if that.
Okay, what
I
did
didn't
you
feel
think?
it. Not
feel
really
it?
for me. Just like once the guy was trying to make the crossplay work and it didn't work. And I was going to play it with Owen, and then the guy switched to single player. I did a couple of movement slashes and everything. I was like, yeah, like the game doesn't feel right to me. It may feel right to you guys. It might actually be good. Don't take this as any kind of preview review. Very quick. I just picked it up. I mean, let's be honest. We don't get to play that many games at Gamescom because the freaking queues are huge. So when I did get to play a game, I was like, all right, okay. Yeah, I just put it down. The guy was just like turned around and goes, "Oh, mate, I just set it up for you." I'm like, I hope you're not one of the developers because that's horrible to see. Like, just put the controller down. But maybe I was tired. I don't know anything. I just didn't feel it. But Dutch was talking about it yesterday, and Dutch, you were, looking forward to it, and it's absolutely fine. I would discount my impressions of it. I just didn't think it was anything, but I've done, meh. It's not for me.
That's what I felt like when I saw the trailer. It was like Dutch was after the Xbox showcase, like, dude, that game looks cool. I was like, I'm not feeling it. It's just another side scroller kind of thing. And actually, the demo convinced me otherwise. Dutch and I, we were playing it together in co-op. Like, they had one level with a big boss fight at the very end, and then you got to the hub and overworld, and that's basically where the demo ended. And I actually really enjoyed it. It felt like a casual Monster Hunter meets, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. So you have these 2.5D world. You move around. So it's a hack and slash. Obviously, you have superpower. You have quick hit, strong hit, dash, all those kinds of things. But it's also an RPG looter kind of game. Yeah, so you find loot, level up, and it plays much more casually, like a Monster Hunter, where you really have to dig into this, that, and this, that. This isn't this game. It's way more casual, but it has all of those elements. So, and then you get to the overworld. You go on to the next mission, level up your character, craft some stuff, whatever. And then you go into the next level. And it felt, to me, it looked really good. I was surprised by the visual quality. Like the animation work stood out. And then I just had fun playing it. I really thought after this demo, and it convinced me, and I was not a fan of the trailer after the trailer of the game, but this demo definitely convinced me, okay, this is gonna be a fun, casual game. It's not gonna be like the world's greatest game ever made or anything, but it looks like a real fun, casual game. And Dutch, then we had the pleasure, like the day after we played it, we were meeting up with Kelly Lombardi. She's
Global head
an
of marketing.
Xbox, global head of marketing lead. And so we just met her next to the booth, and we were standing there, like chatting with her. And then a guy approached us, and she was actually, so guys, I have to actually go. I have a press interview or something. And then the guy next to us was like, "Oh, so you know Kelly?" And then we got to chat to him, and he was actually the game director and the guy that did like Banner Saga 1 to 3, the entire artwork for the entire Banner Saga, and we had the opportunity. Dutch, how long did we talk to the guy?
Good
For
30, 45 minutes at least. It was a long
yeah,
talk.
for 45 minutes, something like that. I think, what was his name?
Arne
I have to look
Jorgensen.
it up. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's co-founder of Stoic. Yep. So and right next to him, John from Xbox Zero was talking to the other co-founder, John.
Yeah. And it was really cool. We got a lot of insight.
The funny thing was though, Boxy, is like Kelly was standing there. We just creeped into the in the middle of the queue. Started the guy that was like from the Xbox team was like, "Oh, this isn't the queue." And it was like, "No, we're speaking to Kelly." He was like, "Oh, sorry." So he wandered off.
Yeah.
And then we just stood there whilst everyone was trying to play the game and queue up for it, just talking to the game directors for 45 minutes and. We asked him some really, really cool questions. It was like a mini semi interview. We just decided to take the opportunity and grill him a bit about things. So
exactly,
it was awesome.
So one of the cool things we learned was that they intend to do this like a service kind of game, not with microtransactions or anything, but they will continue to like add new worlds, new levels, new missions, and so to the game after launch. So it's not a one and done. It's gonna be a continued game. They didn't have any plans for monetization so far. So we talked about him about that how Xbox, even though they are not first party, they get like the first party treatment. So the game being in Game Pass doesn't need like a in-game monetization model to be continued. Then he also said like the help from Xbox was a bit almost overwhelming. At some point they were like, let's just finish the game, we don't need any more help.
Yeah, we don't need
it was
any more
really
things.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool things that we learned from him. That maybe you want to add one or two things.
Yeah, when you were mentioning the season changes and things, it's so the way that they've created the engine, it essentially it can generate entire worlds and maps, like a seed system, like Minecraft does. So when you start up a game of Minecraft, it generates a seed for the world that it automatically makes, and then you can essentially get the seed code, and then you can go back to that world anytime as long as you've got that seed number. That's essentially how this kind of translates. So they can generate entire new worlds. So when the season ends, an entire new world is generated. The art team go in and add a few little custom bits themselves, and then they can just push it out. So creating of content for the game is almost infinite for them. And they intend to, you mentioned that they intend to support it for a good 5 to 10 years, depending on how successful it is. But as you mentioned, he said the Xbox team are like overly, like far too supportive in some cases, but he's to the point where he's like, we don't need to add any more. Like, I think the game's good, pretty much good to go, and we just want to get it out first, and then we'll talk about other things we can do. But like, let us just get this out first. I also liked how he really didn't want the game to be this massive mega success. He just wanted it to be a good game. He said, I don't want to be the next big thing. I don't want to be the next Starfield or the next whatever it is. I just want to have a good game that people enjoy. That was really good to kind of hear. He was like, I don't want to be big and overbearing. I just wanted our studio to put out a good game. I was like, awesome. That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. So yeah, it actually is now definitely on my radar. See how much a good demo can do.
Yeah.
Even though Gas didn't like it for some reason.
Very briefly.
For me, it was.
It just didn't hit me.
You mentioned Ninja Turtles. For me, it was Castle Crashers meets Monster Hunter.
Yeah, you could go that way too. Yeah. So somewhere in those lines of games, you know.
But I think the good thing that we noticed is it is easily a game you can pick up for 5 minutes, play a level, put down, and then do something else. Or you can, if you want to, you can play for hours on end with your friends and really go all the way through it. It's one of those games you can spend as little or as much time as you want, and it makes no difference.
Yeah. So, what else did we see? And we met Melina Jürgens from Hellblade,
We did.
the actress of, that plays Senua, and Will was his name,
Will
right?
Potter.
The the community manager of Ninja Theory. Obviously, Melina was there giving out like photos and stuff. So we took a photo.
Yeah, we didn't have to
So
queue for it.
feel
though.
like a little. Yeah, we didn't have to queue for it. Yeah, that's a good thing. Was still, guys, it was like a funny story because we took this group picture with her. You guys have probably seen it on Twitter. Yeah. And then after that, everyone wanted like to get a single photo with Melina. And I went first and I stood next to her and she like put her arm around me. And I was like, am I supposed to do that too? I don't know. You never know these days, you know. So I was not really sure how to do it, and I didn't put my hand on the shoulder, and you can see it in the photo on
Keanu Reeves style,
like hovering like this above her shoulder.
I noticed that, by the way, Boxenberger. I noticed you didn't put it in there. I was like, he's doing a Keanu Reeves respectful, because Keanu Reeves doesn't do that. If you look at it, he's always like hovering, like over them.
He's just touching the aura.
Yeah. So you guys were all making fun of me, so thanks.
That is, I'm a very touchy-feely person. You probably know this already now.
Yeah,
I'm a very touchy-feely person all the time anyway. And I just like always hug and always like do that all the time. And she was really nice, but she was more. With my picture, I was just like standing there because she's an attractive person. I just don't want to seem like 1,000 guys. One of the things I notice is a lot of guys, like when they do take the cosplay pictures, they get a little bit thirsty with the women, and I feel like it looks a bit creepy, and it's like I sometimes can see the women be a little bit uncomfortable. So subconsciously, I'm like, you know, even though I'm fighting my default, which is like, yo, just give me a hug. When I saw Aaron Greenberg, I was just like, yo, he's like, when he said gas, I'm like, Aaron just went in and it's like, just boom, gave him a big hug. He was going to shake hands. I was like, get the fuck out. We're going to touch.
Yeah.
No, that was different with Melina. I was just like, hey, but I didn't know what to do. I was like, in my head, it's like,
yes.
I was like, I've already got a lot of ponies now. They're going to start cancel culture Gaz, hashtag me3, and Gaz is there. And I'm like, the reforged gaming of the community. I was like, fuck. I didn't even know. I just wanted to take a picture with Melina, but no, she was really lovely. Another person was really
absolutely.
down
and the cool thing was, after Xbox Fan Fest ended at like 11 p.m. or so, we were still standing at the Xbox booth. Dutch and I were talking to her. Then Will, the community manager, joined. A little later, Aaron joined, and we had some really cool talks about combat. And he was having like, we were asking him straight away, so where's combat? Everyone wants to see combat, and he had this smirk on his face. We gotta show it. Yeah. And then we talked to Melina about how she practiced with martial arts and everything, and how they brought in some Hollywood guys, including the guy that did the sword fights for Star Wars, you know, the choreography for Star Wars, to make the combat really cool. And they both had a smirk on their face when they talked about combat, right, Dutch?
Yeah, they did. But yeah, we were asking. It was quite funny actually, because obviously they called us over. They kind of pointed and just went, "Come here," because I forgot. Because obviously after I took the photo with them, put it on, then they recognised who I was. They were like, "Oh, for the console, so come here. We'll have a chat with you." And then you came over, and then they started. Okay, we'll ask them a little bit about combat and things like that. So how's that going? How the developer diaries going? Because I used to love them, and you kind of showed a good how you dealt with combat and things in COVID and working from home, and how you treated that, and did your combat training with your partner, who's an MMA fighter, and the sword fighting and things like that. And then you were joking around, guys, about being thrown over, or you would put your back out and things like that. It was such a cool conversation.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna put my back out and do what?
Combat.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry, I was just phased out there, so I was gonna blow my back out doing something. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
She would probably blow. But we were saying about like I think she misheard what I said. Like it must have been hard, and she might have thought, like, what's it? And then I'm like, the combat, like you could probably kill every single one of us in this room. She was like, yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
Because she's had like mad training.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hand-to-hand
she had
combat,
thick
sword fighting,
thighs as well.
MMA.
She would kill us.
She's heavily trained.
Yeah, she's saucy, but amazing. Bro,
Definitely.
did I
Definitely.
tell you about how I was walking with, I won't say his name, and he's like, yo, look at this picture I got my lady. And she's like, almost like blowing a kiss to the camera. Like, I was like, he goes, it's so hot. And I was like, she's so fit. Damn it, you lucky son. Right behind me as we're leaving Gamescom, walking right behind me. One of the most embarrassing things. And she just walks by just like that. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you fucking... There's 30,000 people. How?
I
Why?
love that.
Why? My mate Ben was like, oh, gas. I was like, no. I could have said a lot of worse things, to be honest, but I didn't. So it was like, geez. But she's actually such a lovely person. So I feel like
she is.
Yeah,
Very
you
humble.
guys were talking about
Yeah.
how awkward yous were. Like the first thing she did to me was just pull my beard. She was like, I like
on
that.
your chin.
Yeah. The first thing she did, she just pulled the beard. I was like,
Not the
"Hello."
other beard. But yeah, that's yours is the only picture that they put up as well, because you look like a Viking. It's just like my mate. First thing he said is like, "Yo, that's a mad beard. Look
Yeah.
like a Viking." So it kind of fits the theme of Hellblade a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they put it up there, man.
But then
She was lovely. Such a
Absolutely.
lovely person.
And there was another person
Yeah.
you just, once we'd seen them once, they were just everywhere. Like I just felt like we kept bumping, like me and Boxy especially, we kept just bumping into them
Yeah.
everywhere. I was like, fuck me, like
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
It's so
were
cool
eating
to meet that.
bratwurst outside,
There she is again.
and Melina was, and then we walked to the halls, and Melina was there, and she was just like everywhere. So
it's like Aaron,
Yeah, she's lovely.
wherever we went.
Lovely person.
yeah, lovely. Yeah, I would assume we will see that game next year.
Yeah,
if
I
it's
was
not
trying-
out by then.
I tried to. I brought that up as well about release dates. Naturally, of course,
Yeah.
I'm going to try everybody. I'm naturally going to try and ask about release dates when I'm confronted with two of the main people there. So I was like, me and Boxy have got this bet on as to which one comes first, Avowed or Hellblade. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I've said that Avowed's going to come first, and he was like, all right, okay. And he just smiled. I was like,
It's just,
maybe he's
Uh-huh.
not. Maybe you're a bit more confident in it than I thought.
it looks good. It looks good that I'm about to win the next bet, dude.
Yeah.
What did you say is coming first, Boxy?
Hellblade.
I said Avowed. So I told him,
I-
I said, I think Avowed's going to come first. And the guy was like, all right, okay, right.
I think Hellblade is gonna be their big spring game next year.
I'm with Dutch on this.
So was I until I asked Will.
You
And then
think-
Will was like,
Looks like you should. He told them about our bet,
Yeah.
and he was like smirking, like
yeah.
Who? Aaron.
no, Will, the community manager from Ninja Theory.
Ah.
Yeah, he was smirking a bit when I told him about the bet. I don't know. They seem very confident in that game.
Yeah.
Are you happy
Well,
with how
I've
things are going? They were like,
nothing on the-
yep. I was like, damn.
I would have said Avowed. That'd be
Yep.
surprising, actually, if it's further ahead.
I think Avowed is after the feedback from after the E3 showing, the showcase
yeah.
showing. I think they will try to cook that a little bit longer. So
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, and Hellblade. Yeah, I have a feeling. So
So do I.
we
now.
shall see. So, yeah, you do now. Good stuff. What else happened at the Xbox booth before we talk about a couple of the other things on the show floor? we had actually a funny meeting or bump in with James Shield from the Xbox hardware team. Yeah. So we were having lunch and sitting on, in the area just on the ground because there were no chairs or anything. And he was just walking by, and we had a brief chat with him, and then he said goodbye, walked away, came back, asked, "Hey guys, would you have 30 minutes later today to meet up with some of the other guys from the hardware team? We want to get your feedback on a couple of things." And
yeah.
So
we had an appointment.
Yeah, it was meant to be a half an hour appointment.
It turned out to be a good hour.
Yeah.
They actually, during the meeting, the one lady actually said to her assistant, like, cancel the next appointment. We're going to stay here a little bit longer. So we had a really good chat with them about all kinds of hardware feedback, controllers, consoles, and what we think about certain things. And actually, Dutch, I think it's giveaway time for that. Yeah, because as a thank you, they handed us over 2 codes. We're gonna give away one today.
Ooh.
Yeah. Usually they don't have these kind of codes.
10% off Design Labs,
10%.
which they do not give out.
Exactly. They don't give these out usually, but they gave Dutch to me, and so they are valid until the end of the year, and they will give you like 10% price reduction on everything in the Design Labs. So we're gonna give away one of those codes today, and the other code we will do after our summer break. So, Dutch, how do we want to do this?
I'm just going to. It's going to be fastest fingers first for whoever wants this in chat. But again, it depends on who manages to redeem it quickly. If you're buying a controller on Design Labs, so this could go down to the wire. So, I'm just going to type my code into chat, in my chat. Whoever gets it, gets it.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Who's in my chat? I will do different. We'll actually draw a winner and type in #controller, like no capital letters. And then I will pick a winner in just a few seconds after we talked about what happened at the hardware team. So #controller in the chat, and maybe you're one of the lucky winners. So, they ask us, guys, a lot about the controller, especially the Elite controller. They were very like, okay, what do you think about this and that on the Elite controller? And it was funny because it turned out that we actually, I think Dutch, and I'm not sure, we don't do this intentionally, but we talk about a lot of technology on our podcast, and often we do polls and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we were really able to give not just our opinion, but like the opinion of the community to them, and that's what they really appreciated. So we talked, of course, about what could a new Elite controller look like. What do you think about the pedals? What do you think about like what improvements do you want, and so on.
There was a lot we covered.
That was
we
covered a lot.
Yeah,
then
controller issues,
please,
console issues, storage issues, Bluetooth issues, not just issues but features. What features do you like? What features do you want to see? Boxy, when we were talking about controller customization and additions to Design Labs and things like that, you were talking about something else. So we kind of diverted off to 2 different topics there, which was good.
Yeah.
It means we covered a bit more ground. Yeah. So for me, we were talking about the additions of kind of adding like a modular design labs. So we know with the Elite controller, for instance, you've got the additional sticks, and you've got the additional D-pads, and then you've got the paddles on the back, and you've got trigger stops. So what I said was, listen, there's a lot of guys that want some of those features on a regular controller, but don't want to pay the price of an elite controller. So, for instance, some guy might just want a regular controller, but he might want the trigger stops. So you could put those into Design Labs. You could put that option in to just have a controller with trigger stops in there. Okay, sweet. We can do a shell with trigger stops. Or you can have the option to have paddles and no trigger stops. Or you can have the option to have magnetic or tensionators in the thing. So a modular design. And he was like, actually, I really like that idea. Being able to modular kind of upgrade or pick and choose the parts that you want on it instead of just all an entire elite controller. He said, but what about the core elite? Is that not exactly what you think? It's like, no, because that's still an elite controller. Like, what I'm talking about specifically is just having a standard controller. But if a guy that just wants to play shooters and doesn't want the back buttons, you just want the trigger stops, you can just have trigger stops. So you can say, okay, we'll put trigger stops in.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it was those kind of things in there, and then we were talking about the elite's build quality and issues with the stick drift and braking right bumpers, and they needed sorted. The community much requested feature of putting a share button on the elite controller, but also provided where it could and should go and how easy that should be to implement. So for me, I just simply pointed out, listen, you've already got a sync button on this side. The mode button that is on top of the controller, put the mode button on the other side because you only need to press it once. You select a mode and then it's done. You can have your 3 LEDs at the top there above the USB, and you can put the share button where the mode button currently is. There you go, problem solved. So it's little things like that.
It was funny. They were really like, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yes, what would you, because I know you have to leave in like 10 minutes or so. What would you have given as a feedback for controller and console hardware? I would love to know.
Well, it would be, how about you fix your elite controller? It's because I paid a lot of money for this thing, and this thing is broken. You in the face, in the ass, in the chest. That's what I would say. If I was in a bad mood, but I was in a good mood, so I would say, please sort out the fucking controller. Sorry, I swallowed that and didn't censor it. No, the elite controller and the problems with it, and I paid a lot of money for it, and I can't use this. I end up using this, is really bad. This is my second, maybe third elite controller, and I can't really, this RB button doesn't work.
Yeah.
I try playing freaking Sekiro with this. It's just like, and I love these paddles. These are game changer for me because when I play, game changer. Slide.
They are. I removed them and I hate it. But that's one of the feedbacks I gave is like the pedal, especially the one below. I hit it by accident. Just the way how I hold the controller, I hold it like this, and I just hit it by accident. So they told me that they have heard that feedback not only once.
And I got drifting issues as well.
We brought that up and said they need to, or at least we'd like to see them implement Hall effect sticks instead of the standard sticks that they've got in there. That is industry standard. Hall effects are magnetic, and they literally do not get stick drift. It's impossible. It's magnetic sticks.
If they're going to charge the price that they are, they really, and now that PlayStation has gone into the whole elite controller territory, they need to really, and I also think the pressure is on because despite the PS5's terrible controller battery life, the controller was a big jump. It almost leveled the playing field for many people. It exceeded the Xbox controller. I think Xbox really need to look back. They can't just play it safe, in my opinion, and be the next one. I'll be very disappointed if they didn't take it further. And if they're thinking of incremental upgrades, then it needs to be refined quality, like you said, whatever magnetic, whatever tech they use. I just want it to be premium. Because right now they're rife for class action lawsuit, in my opinion, for these controllers. And a lot more successful class action lawsuits have been successful on the basis of less. Almost everyone has problems with these. They should extend the warranty on these so that I can go back and get this fixed. Because it's a limited edition controller. Should not happen. It shouldn't happen. I'm surprised, or there may be a class action lawsuit in the background, but Microsoft should get ahead of it and sort it out. But they're just staying quiet there. So that's a big thing. On the hardware side, it's just, what the fuck? The Series X, Series S, this is a whole can of worms. the Xbox, in my opinion, has lost the power narrative to PlayStation. And it shouldn't. And you might say, yeah, there are more games.
I actually brought the 720p up during our talk there. And they were really like,
I
that
get
was
it.
their movement. You know, they get it.
It's a big problem that they don't want. They have technical complexities, and I spoke to Jason Ronald and DMs. They're aware of it. They don't want this situation. But at this point, and like, what would I say? Like, what feedback would I say? Other than I would say that, you know, Xbox content creators, you marketed this, you sold us the world's most powerful console. You're now have egg on your face, and we're not there. We're not there. A lot of people have egg on their faces believing your narrative. So God, you know, you release another console next gen, say, and you're saying the world's most powerful console. Everyone, including me, will laugh at you because I have no trust on the power delivery thing. That's a deeper topic. Whether it's that kind of feedback they want, I don't know. Do I care? No.
Oh, they want that kind of feedback because that's actually whether the conversation took off. And
really?
I think that we have agreed afterwards to not share the rest of this conversation.
Not publicly anyway. Not publicly.
Not publicly anyway, because
I think chat, and after this we're gonna talk.
Because I don't think that they intended to talk about a couple of things that we didn't talk about. And we just felt like, okay, we don't want to get those guys into trouble because they were really like the hardware engineers for the controllers, for the console. And they talked about a couple of things they probably shouldn't have, and we don't want to get them into any trouble.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's why we decided
to. It went on far longer than anyone anticipated.
Yeah,
we got into a lot of conversations.
Why did you mention it before? This is an interesting topic.
We did, but you were like nowhere to be seen that day. We were like day. Really, that day. And we were like, really, okay, we came out of this meeting. Okay, this is by far the most interesting meeting we have had at Gamescom, period.
Yeah, so it started off just talking about issues and ended up talking about the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm gonna be in your DMs now. We got a WhatsApp group like, yo, talk to me, bros. Talk to me, bros. I want to find out what happened. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So and we also shared like the things like which weren't really like hardware things, but like capture problems. We talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another one. That's just ridiculous. Pay Twitter, man. I know you don't care about Elon Musk, but freaking Sony pays Twitter. You just pay Twitter, man.
So like one of the general hardware managers, she actually said like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, but we're not in charge of that. But hey, let me give the guy a call. It's not Jason Ronald who is in charge of capture particularly, but she knows the guy, and so what would you tell him? Like the 5 main points, she like really took note, and we were like, so we need editing on console. We will need different HDR. Yeah, like HDR codec, longer clips, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my main issue with the recording is the fact that sometimes it just records 14 seconds.
But is that okay? Not just me then.
Yeah.
No. We said that it just doesn't really work. So you have like 30-second clip, and then it only records a few seconds, stuff like that. We addressed that. We said like, the codec, the HDR codec, is super weird because they have their weird ass proprietary HDR codec, so you really can't use that. And colors seemed washed out when you record an SDR, like super dark clips and stuff like that. We even addressed the size of the screenshots. Like, why does every damn PNG that you record have like 20 megs and above? That's like, doesn't make any sense. So we had really long conversation there about all kinds of things, and
Like
that was
just to kind of say how in depth they went about the controllers, Gaz, as well. They were like, when Boxenberger was talking about the issues with the paddles and everything like that, they were like, no, hold it up, we're going to take a photo for internal. I was like, no, hold it up. So hold it like you would hold it. And they were taking photos and going around and like, no, right, now hold it and show it that way. So how do you hold it right? Okay. So where are you talking about? What you're doing? Show us the placement. Right, we're going to take a photo. They were really in depth. So it's not like they were just listening and writing it down. They were literally recording every little ounce of that meeting with a fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
They were.
That's interesting. That's very good.
In depth.
Okay. That's really cool that they did that.
Oh yeah, and we always try to, with a lot of the things, especially in the talk that we can share about, is like, how would you? They often ask this question: how do you feel your community would think about this? Yeah, so it was really interesting, and that's because we get so much feedback from you guys, and you're so active in the chat, and that's why we're gonna do the giveaway of our codes that we received for 10% off of the design labs. So again, if you want to enter, type #controller, no capital letters, in the chat. We will draw the winner in a second, but Gaz, I know you need to go, so I want to let you out before we draw our lucky winner.
Okay, good luck to whoever wins that and gives Microsoft some more money for broken controllers.
You can use it on the controllers that actually work, that are like the regular controllers. You know?
You said that. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, so, but Gaz, man, thanks so much for taking the time and coming on here today. It's, man, and especially a big thank you for just being such a cool dude. A lot of people ask me, how is Gaz off the camera? And he's
Exactly
just a
the
genuine... Exactly the same. No, he's just an amazing person to hang out with. Like, literally enjoyed every second we spent together, and can't thank you enough for making this Gamescom an unforgettable experience. It's been an absolute blast with you all these days, and man, I already cannot look forward to. I can't wait for next year to meet you again, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. And same goes back to both of you gents, man. Like, you made Gamescom for me. It was just so nice, man. Like, good friends that, and considering you my friends, to finally met you. And it's hard to find good people, or genuinely, in all my years. I always have like a big, like, because I'm like gravity, I'm a piece of shit, but I attract so much shit. And I'm very averse or have my guard up sometimes. But with you guys, it was just like, it was all came off. It was just instantly. So I met Dutch instantly, just like, yeah, I'm taller than him.
Your hair's taller than me. Let's get that straight. Once and for all. Gaz's hair's as big as me.
No, I had to put that there. No.
That's not a hat he's wearing. He's just got sauce on the front of his hair.
Yeah. Oh man, no, honestly, man, you guys made the trip for us, man, and I just regret I didn't get to meet up because my friends and their mess and the bullshit that they made me go through created a lot of issues long after you had left. But that's one of the things I had to deal with. But honestly, thank you, everyone. Thank you all, honestly, for putting up with my friends as well, because they were pretty mental. So thank you, everyone in chat. If you can't make Gamescom, please do try as well, because the community thing is not BS, man.
It's legit.
It is real.
It is.
It is legit.
It is.
So, and these two gents are just genuinely lovely people. So before it sounds like I'm trying to have sex with them, I'm going to leave. But thank you. Please hit that like button. And thank you both, man. We got to... Well, you guys always are doing the rounds. Can't wait to have you guys on Go Live. Can't wait to be on both of your shows. Thank you again.
Anytime.
Thanks, Gaz, man. And you have a great one.
Take care, man.
Okay, take care. All right. So let's draw the lucky winner here.
Yep.
Let
And
me-
whilst you're drawing that lucky winner, of course, in my chat, I've already dropped the code in the chat. So whoever picked that up and whoever redeems that code quicker, and of
Oh,
course,
sweet.
Gaz, we're in this weird limbo zone on your thing where we're not really lined up with the cameras.
Yeah.
In my chat, the code's already there. So whoever's got that code, enjoy it. It's 10% off Design Labs
There we go.
until 31st of December this year. They don't give those codes out. They are super rare.
Yeah.
They mentioned as such for ours. Gave away one on Kia Santa's show yesterday, and there is one there today. So enjoy it. And of course,
Absolutely.
Foxy's
So
drawing his right now.
I want to share this, wheel thing that draws the winner here, but I don't know. Fuck OBS. It won't let me share this browser, so I don't know why. So you gotta have to take my word for it, and I'm drawing the lucky winner now. And there he is, Smitty Smith, our brother. Awesome. Congratulations, man. Hit me up in the DMs somewhere, either on the Xbox or it doesn't matter where. Twitter. I know you're not on Twitter, so hit me up on Xbox. And I will send you the code, man. That's really cool.
Yes.
All right, Dutch.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another giveaway of one of those in one of our future shows, but we will take next Thursday and the Thursday after off.
Yes.
Simply for family reasons, family vacation time. So we have a short summer break, and we will give away the other code in the show after. So
Yeah.
yeah, they are valid till the end of the year, by the way. So
Yeah.
Smitty, you have to redeem the code by the end of the year. So
Yeah. Nice.
all right, Dutch. We have so much more to talk about. What do you want to talk about? Have you
So-
played H4 on console? That Shadow dropped.
I haven't yet. No, I have played. We haven't spoke about this yet. I have played Motorfest as well.
Oh yeah, then let's talk about that. But I need to talk about H a little later.
Go on.
It's this
I'll
time
let
of the
you.
podcast again where I get to talk about H. So
I saw your post. I saw your post about it earlier, and you said it was quite a bit different than you thought.
oh yeah, it is. It is. So I will share my thoughts later. Then let's talk about Motorfest. Yeah, you lucky dude got to play it. I didn't.
Yeah. You were playing.
What were your thoughts?
you were
I
playing
was
the-
playing Tekken with Gas at the
and
same
mech
time.
game.
So
You were playing the mech game.
Armored Core,
Armored Core.
Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and Gaz were playing that, and me and Erwin were playing Motorfest. And I've got to say, the one thing I went into, the only thing I was looking for really was how the controls stack it up. Because for anybody who has played the Crew 1 or the Crew 2, the controls are sloppy. It's like playing an early Need for Speed game. It's not a sim game. It's not really a racing game. It's really arcadey. And it feels like you're kind of driving shopping trolleys. Whether you're driving a good car or a terrible car, it makes no difference. It doesn't feel great. So the one thing I went into looking for Motorfest wasn't the graphics or anything. It was, okay, so how does this handle and how does it feel? And immediately noticed it felt 10 times better than the Crew had ever felt. It feels like an actual racing game now. The cars feel responsive. Each car feels a lot different. So the F1 cars handle like F1 cars. The
Does it
old
feel
cars,
like this Forza clone that we all thought? Because when they showed it off, it looked like literally a Forza Horizon clone.
It is.
Was it that?
Yep. It is absolutely a Forza clone, except it has additions that... This is where we've mentioned before as well about Forza. Forza Horizon in the series. Forza Horizon's the pinnacle of open world racing games. It is exactly what the industry needs to aim for. But what we do need is Forza Horizon to change a few things up. They need to start looking at what they can do beyond just cars. Look at quads, look at motorcycles, look at boats or something like that. Add a few more bits into it. And a quick shout out to Iron Lords who have just raided the chat. So thank you to everybody joining in from the Iron Lords podcast. Much appreciated. and welcome. We've still got quite a bit to talk about. We're actually talking Gamescom, myself and Boxenberger, and you've just missed Gaz. Myself and Boxenberger are talking everything Gamescom after just returning. So yes, you've got a lot to get through. But yeah, in terms of what Forza Horizon needs to do is kind of where Motorfest is doing. So the handling's vastly improved. With regards to the F1 cars that they've got in the game, that actually has the full sim racing kind of setup there, where you can change the tires and you can go to pit stops and you plan fuel management and everything around it. So aside from just being an open world racer, you've also got the sim racing aspect with the Formula One cars, and then you've got motorbikes and boats and planes and things added in there as well. You've got a huge open map as you do with Forza, but it's a little bit more varied. It's not based on like a real world, should we say, or a real place. It's kind of a culmination of a few things all built into one. So yeah, it is truly a step up, but it looks great. It plays really great. We were playing the one thing I will stipulate here though, outside of Xbox's booth, you could clearly see the dev kits that we were playing the games on. If it wasn't on a dev kit for an Xbox, it was playing on PC, but they had them all visible so you could see what was being used. Alternatively as well, one good thing about the Xbox booth was that they had accessibility controllers ready for any of these booths, so if somebody needed them, they could use them. If you wanted to raise or decrease the desk size depending on your disability, you could do that. They had ramps everywhere, so Xbox were really prepared for everybody to use it. Outside of Xbox, however, different story. A lot of the time, developers wouldn't tell you what the game was on. So Motorfest, I was using a PlayStation 5 controller, but the unit was hidden, so they wouldn't say what it was getting played on. I don't know whether or not it was PC or a PlayStation.
I had that the same. It was a Tekken Armored Core, not even Armored Core. I had a PlayStation controller in my hand to play that, but they wouldn't tell me whether I was playing on PC or dev kit or an actual PlayStation. I don't know. It's so weird. Xbox was super transparent about that. They
were.
Literally told you whatever they could.
Yeah, it was really, really in depth on that front. But the game itself, Motorfest, was actually a surprise. It surprised me. It's not a game I'm going to play immediately. Of course, naturally, we're all super looking forward to Starfield coming up soon. But it's going to be a surprise hit, I think. It's going to be a surprise hit. It handles really well. It looks well. They've got an abundance of cars.
That's cool.
Tons of different things to do. And again, it's the festival vibe with the big music soundtrack. And so, yeah, especially PlayStation guys who really wanted that Forza Horizon feeling and they didn't have an Xbox or they didn't have a PC. Motorfest is absolutely worth your time. Absolutely worth your time. It really good game.
Cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to play it, but glad you did and were able to share that. So what else did I play? Of course, Tekken. We talked about that earlier. Armored Core I was a little surprised because the Souls games, when you would play those on the show floor for like a 10 or 15-minute demo, you wouldn't really be able to get into the game. And that was a true surprise with Armored Core. It felt very natural to pick up our boost is here, main attack there, super attack there, and bam, bam, bam. And then it felt very easy to get into. Obviously, it wasn't an easy game, but it felt easy to get into it. I was actually surprised about it. Didn't have it really on my radar, but I enjoyed what I've played there. So yeah, that game's already out, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. Maybe we can now move to Age because I'm dying to talk about Age.
Because you're a massive Age guy, but also you've got 700 hours into Age on PC.
Yes, I do.
and now you've tried out Age 4 on console. So what's the big differences? How good or bad is it compared to what you were thinking?
So, yeah. Obviously, the shadow drop. I didn't expect to shadow drop it, honestly.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by that?
I wasn't in the end because, of course, thanks to Xbox Brazil.
Yeah, okay. And I kind of feel bad for H. You know, they shadow dropped that during Gamescom with
Yeah.
little to no advertisement whatsoever, and a week basically before Starfield comes out. And you can tell nobody is really talking about this game. And that's unfortunate because I still think, otherwise, I wouldn't have put 700 hours into it. I think this is one of the best games of this generation.
Yeah.
And it's by easily the most addictive multiplayer game I've played in a decade.
Yeah.
Really, like the multiplayer ranked online matches are absolutely fantastic. Like, so well done. That's obviously the reason why I put so much time into it. The campaigns are super fun. Like, it's very for a strategy game, like a very diverse kind of missions. You don't have to do the same things in every mission, like start the base, build this or that. The missions are really well designed, and they have these live action, kind of like almost a documentary in between the missions to give you the historical, background. So Age is definitely worth a playthrough. Now played it on console, obviously, and so it transitions very well over to controller.
Yeah.
Honestly, they've done a tremendous job, like to actually maneuver your troops, to build up your base and everything. It handles really well on the controller, but they made some massive changes for that on the game to be able to do so. And it's not just like, okay, like the menus look maybe different or whatnot. They changed drastically because it on console, because they had to do a couple of things. When you play it on PC, Age is really all about that micromanagement, really like telling every single villager of yours what to do. You go over to wood, you go to food, you build this, you build that. And this is a more automized kind of system that they have on console. So on console, it's not like about micromanaging your individual villagers, but more like setting up the right automatic systems. So you can basically address like, okay, I want to have like 50% on food, 25% on gold, 25% on wood. And then whenever a new villager spawns, they will automatically go to wood, food, whatever. Yeah. So this is of course changing the way how you play the game, because the most time on PC you spend, okay, I send this villager to that and this to that and that there I do that. You don't have to do that kind of managing on the console, and you can focus on a couple of other things. Yeah, so exploration of the map, finding the right spots to place your troops, and so on has a significantly higher focus on the console version. And besides that, they changed a lot of the things because it is an automated system with the villagers. For instance, like generating a villager on PC takes 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So in 1 minute, you can spawn 3 villagers. On console, it's 2 seconds.
Nice.
Like bam, bam, bam. You spam them out, And of course, this adjusts all the strategies that you have to do, because your strategies from PC won't work on console. Like, because you can only like spawn a villager every 20 seconds, you have to do certain things, to in the meantime. And it's so it is a very different game, really, like a very different game on console, on PC. But I've played now maybe good 2 hours, 3 on console, and from what I've played, it works really well. I highly recommend everyone to check out the campaign because it is phenomenal. It really is. And it plays really well on console as well. And I can't judge the online multiplayer of H4 yet. I have to try that on console, but it feels like my brain is not up for it. Like after spending 700 hours
Yeah.
on online ranked matches in H4, my brain is like restructured to think in a certain way in that game, and I'm not sure if I can transition over, honestly. But it is very, very good on console, and I feel really bad for the game because it gets no attention whatsoever, and it launched right in front of Starfield, and nobody's gonna play or talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How about you? Will you be
I've got it
checking
downloaded.
it out?
Yeah, I've got it downloaded. We've got 5 days to burn before Starfield comes out. So there's a few games I'm gonna just try out first, so I can speak about them. I've got Everspace downloaded. I've got Age 4 downloaded on console. Again, like you, I've played a lot of Age 4 on PC already, so it's more to just see what the controls are like and see how it plays on PC. There's a bunch of stuff I need to catch up with before Starfield launches on Friday, and then early access launches on Friday, and then we can go from there. And of course, as a lot of people will be, I know you're going on holiday, so you'll be playing on your ROG Ally when you're on holiday, and
I will.
I'll be playing. I'll be streaming it on Friday and things like that. But I want to give a quick recap as well to those just coming in our chat on this side anyway from the ILP. Little bits that you might have missed out on that you can go back and listen to for us on earlier on in the show. So we've covered off Starfield. Of course, we got to see that and obviously see more in-depth gameplay of that. So we covered off exactly what that was. And kind of the feelings behind it and the Gamescom feelings behind that. So the general public's thoughts on the game. We've covered off our kind of in-depth interview with the developers from TOWERBORNE and Stoic. So we had a one-to-one with Arne Jorgensen, who's the co-founder of Stoic. So we had a good chat with him, and we relayed a little bit of the info from TOWERBORNE. We played that. I've got a hands-on impressions on my channel now, which you can watch after the show. We've also got our thoughts and discussions on the Forza Motorsport gameplay, which we had. Boxenberger had a private screening in the morning, and then we had another screening kind of later on, which we all jumped in on. So we've seen more hands-on of the Forza Motorsport there as well. Again, gameplay is on the channel. We also talked to the hardware engineering team about issues with the hardware and features, things we'd like to see change, and community feedback on that. So we relayed everything to the hardware team directly, which they recorded both in photograph, in video, and in writing. So they've got an in-depth understanding as to what the community want to see changed on things like the controller, like the sticking RB buttons or breaking RB buttons, or stick drift, or a share button on the Elite controller, or HDR and recording issues on the console, and a ton more things that we relayed there, and then discussed the future of that. We've discussed Stalker 2 and Boxy's impression there of Stalker 2 gameplay and hands-on with Stalker 2 and how good that is, and what you should expect for that. We've discussed a boatload, and of course right now we're discussing what else we've looked into. So I've just covered off Motorfest, Boxy's just covered off Age. So what else, Boxy? What else have we been up to over at Gamescom?
We went through the indie hall, man.
Yeah, that was massive.
Let's talk about it. That was massive. It's great to see that indies do get their space in such a gigantic trade convention. And I for everyone who hasn't been to Gamescom, like, we mean massive. E3 is really small compared to this one.
The one thing I would say about Gamescom that they need to do better is the signage.
Oh yeah,
signing was
dude,
terrible. Absolutely
horrible.
shocking. You have no idea where you're going from one, but you kind of just lurk through the halls until you get to the right place.
Yeah. No, true. It is. You had no idea. There was no overview in which hall is which booth. So you basically had to scout the entire area. And when I mean entire area, we are talking about the size of a good village.
Yeah, to
It's
kind of
like
put it into perspective, just the Xbox booth was 50,000 square feet.
yeah, and that was like what do you say, 20% of that hall?
Yeah,
Like, and they had, I don't know, a dozen of halls. It literally took you to just walk from entrance north to entrance south 30 minutes. Like, that's the size we are talking about. So Gamescom is massive. It's gigantic. And so, yeah, a little plan, where is which booth would have really helped. They didn't have something like that at all.
yeah.
Um,
But going back to
but
the indie section, that was
yes, please, exactly.
huge. Like you literally walked in, and there was like indies from Turkey, and there was a literally just every indie developer that they had from Turkey was in one place, and then indies from Spain, indies from Germany, indies from Portugal, indies from everyone, and then there's a massive depending on
Japan
publisher
and so on. Yeah,
huge, and there was just and you kind of felt sorry for them as well, but you were also quite happy to see so many indies turn up to Gamescom, because every individual unit, and they had a tiny little booth with like every indie had one computer to show their game off, and there was like that developer was standing talking to whoever was playing the game and kind of walking them through it and things like that, and you could see how happy they were kind of just talking about the game to people, but it was also like kind of going, you know what it is? It's at the same time, you don't want to see them kind of resigned to one of the back halls where they've got to kind of fight for attention from everybody that walks by.
yeah,
But it was
true that. So it
many of
was
them.
so many of them, and it would have been cool if they would have like helped visitors to ease into that, because like you said, every developer had one PC and there were hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And you had no idea where to go. It's like almost too much choice.
Yeah.
Made you like, okay, where do I start? So yeah, but that was really
what I would like Gamescom to do in the future for the indies isn't resign every one of them to singular halls. I think what would be better placed is maybe it's in the main hall. What we saw in the main hall was the big Xbox booth, Sega booth. Then you had Aorus, which was doing like Street Fighter. Then you had some other kind of things at the back there. Really, along the side of the hall, have a bunch of indies just along on the side of the main hall, so that people could go to them if they're not at one of the big major booths, and do that in every hall. Get just a section, like a big on the side near the kind of doors and things like that. Just get a big section of indies across like the major halls with all the big publishers, so that they're kind of part of the big talk and not just resigned to a room for themselves. I think I personally think that would do better for them. They'd probably see a lot more foot traffic going to a lot of the indies than just stick in the main rooms.
Yeah, agreed. That would definitely have helped. So what else did we see? We saw Farming Simulator, Dutch. Like a massive booth. Like
Farming Simulator is
gigantic.
popular.
It is super. I told you that while we were walking through that hall. There was a weird hall entirely. Like it was like I felt like
field size.
Man, I feel really invested in gaming, and I think I understand our gaming community and what's going on in the industry. And when I walked through that hall, I felt like, did I miss something? Like this Farming Simulator, as an example, gigantic booth,
It was like the size of a football pitch. It was the size of a football pitch. It was huge.
It was huge, and they had like a Farming Simulator league. People were lining up like crazy. They had this event, this moderator on stage, and the crowd was going wild. And I was like, dude, that's farming simulator, right?
I heard a girl when we were walking out of the hall. I heard like a young kind of anime dressed girl going, "Oh, you farming simulator down here," like completely serious.
Yeah.
Like, what?
What?
Like headed to an anime game
So-
going to play farming sim. I was like, this is weird. This is I am. If this is me, I thought I was in touch with gaming, but I'm clearly out of touch. Like,
Yeah. And in the same hall, there were like a lot of massive other booths from games you have never even heard of.
yeah,
Like some of them were some Japanese games, and there were lines of people waiting 8 hours to play some Japanese game, manga kind of game that you've never even heard of.
yeah.
And it is like, what did I miss? What did I miss? It is
Super popular.
it was yeah,
Super
it was
popular.
like
And
absolutely.
again, we mentioned this very briefly earlier, but we did try on multiple occasions to play Black Myth Wukong.
Yes.
The first on the trade day with just press trade creators. The queue was about 3 hours long. It was like 120 to 150 minutes, and we were like, we'll just wait. We'll come back to that. So we came back literally first thing in the morning on public day, straight to the hall where Black Myth was, and it was already 300 minutes, which is over 5 hours. We were like,
Wait.
fuck that. Nope.
We can't do that. We can't do that. Not for one single game. That's impossible. We would have missed out on so many other things.
Black Myth seemed like it was long because that queue did not budge.
Yeah.
That must have been a 30-minute demo that people could play.
Also,
yeah.
And they had quite a few PCs there. It was not like they had only like 1 or 2 gaming stations. Were a lot of them, but yeah. But everyone smiled that came out.
Yeah.
Everyone smiled.
Everyone was happy.
Everyone was happy with what they've played. The game looks really, really great. You know what was weird during opening night live when we were sitting there in the theater? They showed off Crimson Desert, and
Yes.
it is, I think, the game of opening night live.
Yeah.
It was like everyone was talking about it. Oh, it looked phenomenal, and it was nowhere at the actual event.
It was, but not for us.
Well, there was like, yeah, I know. They had in a hotel somewhere outside.
They had a secret behind closed doors part at Gamescom that press had a chance to. For instance, TOWERBORNE. There was a bit specifically for high level press to go and have meetings with Phil and Todd and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they also had longer versions of the games on the show floor that regular press were getting. So they had longer versions of TOWERBORNE. They had Crimson Desert there that wasn't available. They had a secret showing off-site for Alan Wake 2's gameplay, which you've seen kind of go up on IGN. Then you had off-site for Certain Affinity, who are talking about their new game. John and Xbox Eras spoke about that very briefly. He's seen and played Certain Affinity's new game that they're pitching currently. So if you check out Xbox Era, their previous podcast, John's still in Germany, or at least was up until yesterday. He spoke about the Certain Affinity's new secret project. So there was a lot off-site that only super secret people and people in the know were getting to see. Unfortunately, we didn't. But you're right, Crimson Desert looked phenomenal. It was by far the game of the show on ONL. By a long shot, that was... And it's apparently equally as impressive in person. It is really big. Jez has seen it. Jez has seen it off stage.
Yeah.
It is super impressive. Hyper detailed. Like, draw distances are just insane on that game. But that's got me super intrigued. As soon as they announced that was no longer an MMO and that was turning into a single player game, I was like, now I'm interested. Now I'm interested. Now this game is getting on my radar.
Yeah.
Don't know about you.
Definitely. Yeah, I felt the same. At Crimson Desert, I mean, Black Abyss, they know their way around the technology side of things. You know, their engine is phenomenal. I'm glad that they went single player because I simply don't have the time to get into those 1,000-hour MMOs anymore. I just
Yeah.
don't. So it reminded me a lot of like a little bit more scripted Witcher, which is looked super cool. I can't wait to find out when that game is actually targeting a release. So
Yeah.
definitely, I have it on my radar. Brian Scully in my chat here over here asks, "Is Stalker 2 really a letdown? Can't believe it."
It depends on who you ask. In terms of graphical, it looks good in situations and can use work in others. You mentioned this earlier. You talked about the facial animations weren't as impressive as what was first shown off.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned some of the aspects of UE5's level of detail at close range was a bit off. So it makes sense now why they've pushed that into 2024 to really work on some of the graphical aspects
It
of
does. It does. But I felt
On a
on the
gameplay
contrary
side.
that it was a letdown. Yeah.
Yeah, on a gameplay side, it's a different story, though. I think everybody's in agreement that game plays really well. It's super difficult, but the bit that surprised me about it was the choice-based thing that you spoke about. So if you want to just kind of recap that as well quickly.
Yeah, so we had a segment earlier in the show for those who are new. So we already covered Stalker intensively earlier, but let me summarize it. Gunplay felt really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, they nailed that aspect absolutely. Movement also of the character, not too slow, not too fast. It was like, it felt really good to play it actually. And it is a massive open world. You can tell they have the same navigation system. There's no mini map or something. Yeah, they have the little compass on the top screen that lets you like similar like in games like Skyrim. And then you encounter a lot of different things like side missions, even in this small slice that we played. And you get to make a lot of decisions. So I actually did 2 playthroughs of the demo. In the first one, I accidentally shot someone that I was supposed to help, and suddenly a little later, an entire village turned against me. They were all coming at me, and I was able to do that, and it didn't ruin like the quest line.
Yeah.
So, and then the next playthrough, I actually helped the guy, not shoot him. Then I went into that village, and they were all friendly, like, yeah, giving me new stuff to do. So a lot of the things you do really have an impact on certain things. That was a clear message in that playthrough, and I thought it looked really good. Again, to touch real quick on the visual side of things, I think that was the letdown. It didn't really look like what they've shown in the trailer. It's kind of hard to tell because the demo we played was in a very different location than from the things we've seen in the trailers. Yeah, it wasn't really
Joe
indoors.
Dunmore in my chat just went accidentally.
Yeah. It was actually accidentally. The guy was attacked by 12 dogs or so. And I was trying to shoot the dogs, and I accidentally shot him in the foot. And then he turned against me, and I pulled out my shotgun and said, "Goodbye, dude." So, but yeah, it looked really good. It is. Is it the same like in the trailer? Again, very hard to tell because a lot of the stuff that they have shown in the trailers was in confined spaces. You know, you had like the ambient flickering lights and stuff. And we didn't have that in the demo. The demo started in a vast open world, like everything was like dark and gritty, and they had that completely clouded sky. So it looked very different. The area I was in was very different from what we've seen. I can tell that the facials animations were not on par with what they have shown, especially the guy with the teeth. Yeah, and the other thing is nanite, which is a big part of what makes Unreal 5 so special.
Yeah.
Is supposed to help with the problem of when you get close to textures that they get muddy and blurry, and it did work really well on trees, but it did not work well on rocks.
Right.
So yeah, but other than that, I had one scene where a thunderstorm was coming in and there was lighting everywhere, and that actually looked. I was in a little cabbage, and then it really looked like very cool. So, and it ran butter smooth, no bugs, at least not the ones that I couldn't take care of with my shotgun. So I did encounter a bug though. So a gigantic bug came at me, killed me. So, and then I killed it. So, yeah.
Contrary
but,
to that as well, John from Xbox Zero was talking about it, and he came across some kind of solar storm or neutron storm type of thing that like destroyed the area, and the guy was like, "You need to get the cover," and so he ducked under, and he's like, "No, the cover's the orange building. Like, you need to get that orange building." And John was just about to run for it, and he was like, "There's no point. You're dead. Like, you were dead. There's pointless running for it now. That's it. You're done for." I was like, "That's the end of the demo now. You're dead." But so there's obviously some random events happen as well where you need to kind of get into cover or you die. And it's all to do with weather phenomenons and things like that.
Yeah, they have these anomalies across the world, and they look like little portals that just appear.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you don't know why, but you have to throw like a little bolt in them in order to get rid of them. Otherwise, they will destroy your entire world. And so when they pop up, you have to throw a bolt in there, and then they explode like a grenade or so. So you have to take cover again, so throw the bolt in there and run away. Is what you need to do. But yeah, I had honestly, if it is hard to tell, it is a massive open world RPG. You have like gigantic open world, different story branches depending on the decisions that you make. And they put us in this open world with no explanation whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, and then you had this little vertical slice to play there, and it is hard to tell if the game is really going to be a fantastic game. But if the small part that I played is in any way, shape, or form representable of the final game, I think Xbox has a hit on their hand.
Yeah.
This game is underestimated. It is really good.
Yeah.
Graphics aside, for everyone to judge, but from pure gameplay perspective and what you kind of need to do, the shooting felt really good. Looting them, you have a similar inventory system like in the Resident Evil games, where you have like, okay, this gun takes up 3 squares, and you have to put it properly in your inventory, manage that properly. It is not a survival game, and I've heard a couple of people say that.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get it from. It's not a survival game. It is an RPG, open world kind of game. So
nice.
I'm really looking forward to it. Honestly, I cannot wait. And I hope it turns out to be good, because those developers definitely deserve it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what else?
All right, Dutch.
You think that's about it? Are we wrapping up now, or have we got anything else that we need to cover? Trying to think.
At Gamescom, Phil Spencer actually met with Larian Studios.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And Baldur's Gate, you've been watching gameplay the entire podcast here. at least over on my stream. I don't. You don't have gameplay running right now.
Nope, just our beautiful faces.
So yeah, they found a solution for that entire thing that Xbox requires parity on in between modes on Xbox Series S and X, and they have agreed that the Series S will not receive co-op, and now the game comes out on Xbox Series S with split screen co-op, and on Series S split screen will be removed.
Yeah.
And the game will still come out this year. So big win, of course, for Xbox, because Baldur's Gate is considered to be one of the high runner-ups for Game of the Year, and it is a really, really good game.
Yeah.
Been playing it like crazy. Actually, my target was to finish it before Starfield comes out, but dude, that game is massive, and I haven't even finished Act 2.
Yeah.
So no chance I beat that before Starfield, but it is a phenomenal game, and it's coming to Xbox now. Now, what do you think? Good move on Xbox, because it was like the way how they presented it was really like Phil was there. We've seen him, of course, at the Xbox booth, walking over there to the Larian guys, shaking hands, making deals.
Yeah.
That's what of course Gamescom is also for. It's not just for us to visit. It is also for those kind of things, and something good came out of it. What do you think, man?
It's exactly what we suggested. I think it was the week before Gamescom with regards to what should happen to get this game onto the console. Instead of waiting so long, because they were working on it and they said themselves we're going to work on it to get it onto the console.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be this year. And we just went, well, then just don't bring out the game with split screen co-op, and then bring split screen out when it's ready. And that's exactly what they've opted to do. So, yeah, I think that's the best opportunity, and the fact that they are actively still working to bring split screen to the Series S in the future is the only saving grace that they've got that doesn't disrupt the parity clause. I think if they said, okay, it's coming to Series S and X, and only X is getting split screen co-op, but we're not ever bringing the split screen to the S, then they've got an issue on their hands, because that's the parity clause is indefinitely broken then. I think the fact that they are actively still working on trying to bring that split screen to the console, but what they've kind of came to as a middle ground is, okay, we'll release the game because the game in itself works fine. On X, it works even with split screen, but the S is having a few technical issues getting split screen to work smoothly. Not that it doesn't work, it's just not up to the, should we say, the quality that they want it to be. So they're going to fix that. In the meantime, you're going to be able to play the game in single player, which is where 99% of the market plays that game. So I think it is the best alternative. Of course, what we don't want is this to be repeated for every game that comes out. So it has to be a one-off. They have to get...
That's you know, that this is my thing about this.
Yeah.
As I'm really happy for Xbox gamers that they get to experience this game, because it is, again, a great game, no doubt.
Yeah.
I was still a little bit surprised about the agreement that they found, because I would have thought that they take out split screen entirely from the Xbox version and not just on the Series S until it's ready, because now they've opened up a window. They created a precedence for non-parity things, and I do hope that I'm wrong. But it opens up the window for an EA to come in there and say, okay, the next, I don't know, FIFA. That's so much work to do for the Series S. We're not going to do it. We will patch it later, promise. And then create a situation like that. This is, of course, the window that they have opened now.
Yeah.
So I do hope that this is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
For Baldur's Gate.
I just think if they didn't have that stipulation there to say we're still working on getting co-op onto the S, and it will come. I think if they didn't have that stipulation there, it would have opened far more bigger doors.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. So yeah, good for Xbox gamers. Let's see
Yeah.
if this will continue with other publishers, because there are some greedy bastards out there. We know that, and I don't want to see a situation where we have these discussions too often. So I hope that they didn't open a window there. But Dutch, I think you want to catch up on the supers.
We have one super, yeah. We've got Dave Ramos, $2 super chat. At Gamescom, did sampler feedback streaming, direct storage, or velocity architecture come up? No.
Not directly on the show floor.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Not directly on the show floor. Again, we had a closed meeting with the Xbox hardware team.
Yeah.
And we addressed, of course, the power narrative.
The issue with 720p games currently.
Exactly.
Which was just something that, again, because another game had came out and it was 720, which was Immortals of Avium. We addressed that. Thankfully, it happened pretty much the same day we were doing that. So we were just like, listen, like what's happening? Like, these are next current gen consoles. They're meant to have all this power, but 720, we're going backwards. Like, well, why are we going backwards?
Exactly. So yeah, we addressed that there, but obviously during those shows on the show floor itself, you won't see those kind of talks about VRS or sampler feedback streaming or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dutch, I think that's it. Did we forget something from Gamescom?
I think that's it. I think that's all pretty much in there. For anybody who's thinking about going to Gamescom, if you're a content creator of any size, you probably get there okay. If you have a company or a trade company you're part of, you probably get in okay. If you're part of big press, you'll get in okay, and you'll have a good time. If you're outside of any of those three and you're just public, my God, get tickets to opening night live. Try to get into FanFest. Those are the only time you're really going to see games or interact with the community properly.
Yeah.
Because the actual show floor on public days is just you're not playing games on public day. You're not, unless you're going there for.
You're not going there for this must be clear. If you're not going there as a creator and have like dedicated meetings or certain ways to get to stuff, you won't be playing games at Gamescom.
Yeah.
You have to go there with that mindset. It's for meeting people.
Yeah.
To see the booths, the enthusiasm around the booths. That's what you're going there for. Because every line for every major game is like
3 to 5
hours of waiting.
Yeah. So unless you're planning to go, okay, I'm going to Gamescom for the weekend, and today I'm going to see this game and this game. Tomorrow I'm going to see this game and this game, and the day after I'm going to see this game and this game. So you get 6 games in 3 days, because that's how it's going to work. And bearing in mind, that's from the show opening at like 10 o'clock in the morning all the way through till show closing at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You're going to get 2 games.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. So, other than that, it was a phenomenal trip, man. For us, obviously. We were lucky enough to get in there during the media day and during FanFest, and we got to meet a lot of people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But the very best part was simply meeting up with you, Dutch, the other guys, Erwin, Gas, Xbox Mick, John from Xbox Era, all those people, Jess Corden, exactly. And of course, this awesome community. It was so cool to meet so many people that we knew from Twitter or from Xbox or from the podcast or whatever. And it was just a phenomenal time there.
Yeah.
I think let's wrap it up.
Yeah. And for those
Again,
joining,
thanks
I'm
for
sorry
hanging.
that you're coming at the very end of the show, but if you watch
Yeah.
back, honestly, we've covered an absolute boatload of things from Gamescom. So if you want
Exactly.
information on all of the games that were shown at Gamescom, whether that be Starfield or Stalker or Forza or Towerborne or Motorfest or Tekken or whatever it is, if you want to find out a bit more information about that, or Cyberpunk's new expansion, or we've covered a boatload of stuff in this
Oh, yeah.
show. So tune back to the start and watch it, because there is a lot of juicy info in there for you as well if you're excited for stuff.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. So yeah, guys, thanks again for hanging out with us. Thanks also for sharing all the excitement around Gamescom, all the posts that we put up on Twitter. So many people retweeted them. Just the pictures of people coming together. We super appreciate that. I also want to say a big thank you for all, of course, the super chats that came in today and the channel memberships. You
And
guys are
subs.
awesome.
Yeah.
And the new subs, absolutely. If you have enjoyed the show, of course, make sure to hit the like button on your way out. And if you're new and did enjoy it, definitely consider subscribing. Dutch, we will take a 2-week break. So usually we air this show, of course, on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, or 7 p.m. UK time. The next 2 Thursdays, I'll be on family vacation. So
Yeah.
so
I'm gonna have a break.
for those who are asking, we have a very late summer holiday here in the south of Germany.
Yeah.
So yeah, kids are out of school. We're going to Italy the next 2 weeks, but after that we will be back. Make sure to follow the channel. We will let you know about when we will return. Maybe that should we do another weekend episode after I return to not have that long of a break. We will talk about it and see if we do it.
Yeah, see how tired you are when you get back.
Yeah, exactly. I will let you know. But yeah, other than that, I just want to say a big thank you again for all the support over Gamescom. It has been a phenomenal time. It's been a blast here on the podcast today. And Dutch, where can people find you? What you've coming up? How will you cover the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some form of podcast, because my crew's kind of here and there, everywhere. So if I don't have a full-on podcast on Wednesday, I'll be doing my coffee talks. So it'll be just me talking about the news and covering it all off with you guys and taking one-to-one questions, and very interactive with the chat and those. So yeah, either way, on Wednesday there will be something. On Friday, of course, because early access starts, I'll be able to play Starfield on stream, so that's what I'll be doing on Friday, and likely most of the weekend. Let's put it that way. So yes, of course, we're super excited for that, but a lot of Gamescom coverage out now. If you haven't already seen on the channel, we've got Forza Motorsport gameplay footage from Gamescom. Forza Erwin, I'll also put a post up onto my community page. Forza Erwin's channel's there, and he's got a lot of gameplay footage directly from Gamescom as well, so stuff that you might not have seen already. We've also got hands-on impressions for Towerborne on the channel now, which includes gameplay, so please go and have a look at that and check that out if you're interested in Towerborne. But yeah, other than that, thank you again to my community as well, and shout out to the Iron Lords podcast for dropping their entire stream on us there, so thank you very much for that, and thank you to all the new subscribers, all the super chats, and the memberships. So thank you for that, and yeah, guys, if you did enjoy it, both channels, for both of us, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. But until next time, guys, I think that's a goodbye from us.
Exactly. Goodbye from us, and we see you in 2 weeks. Later.